Right, Mr. Nike.
Yes.
Podcast number 1.
How are we?
Aloha.
Namaste.
I'm very good. Right, so what should we talk about? Let's get started.
I don't know, we were talking about some things earlier when we were having breakfast. What were we talking about?
Let's get started with the power of the mind and what it can actually do that people have no idea exists.
Man, we could talk for days about this.
We've got 3 hours, so potentially 3 hours. So, yeah.
What do you think? How powerful do you think the mind is? How important do you
Incredibly
think
powerful. You can think about anything and anything, and a vibration comes off your brain as a frequency, and that would attract the exact frequency anywhere else. Anywhere in the world, it will bring that frequency back to you. If it's a person, it'll bring a person.
Actually, I'm going to quote someone that I follow. His name is Master Sri Akashana, and he says, not just him, this is basic fundamental knowledge. Everything that you can see around you originates from thought. There's not a single thing.
Somebody thought about this in their brain. Somebody wanted wooden flooring because he was fed up with cement.
Yeah,
was
so
it a mud hut?
Down some trees.
Mud, yeah.
Yeah, let's make it work. Even you, man, like your parents had to think about making you.
They did. They tried 3 years.
Wow,
Yeah,
really?
they wanted me so bad. The universe was like, you're too desperate. You need to relax. And then when they're relaxed and stop fucking as much, like fucking rabbits, I popped out. Literally, a few days later, we've done it.
Yeah.
So it proves that when you're tense, the energy can't flow through you.
Yeah,
and
true.
I wasn't ready to be. So technically, if you're 27 now, I would have been 30, but then you wouldn't exist. There'd be another Nico from like another dimension with a bit older, bigger beard.
You'd be in a
record
different
deal, all
dimension.
done.
You'd be in a different parallel universe,
Yeah.
which is something we can talk about. Yeah, the power of mind, man. The mind is incredible, actually. And this relates to quantum physics. Whatever you focus on is what you'll get. Whatever you're looking for in terms of results, in terms of, I don't know, whatever you're looking for in people.
Hold that thought. Just want to check.
Yeah.
I'll press record.
Yeah.
Because I think I did.
I'm pretty sure you
check.
did. You did?
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, continue.
Yeah. What was I saying?
Something about turkey dinosaurs or some shit.
Turkey dinosaurs. No, I don't have turkey dinosaur sandwiches.
Too much processed bullshit.
Yeah, right.
By the way, you can swear, say whatever you want.
Yeah. I can't remember what I was saying. The power of the mind. Yes, and this relates to quantum physics, actually. I don't know, how much do you know about quantum physics?
A lot. Talk, yeah.
Yeah. So, they did a test with an electron. I can't remember when and where. I think it was in Switzerland or maybe in America. And essentially they had, this is becoming to be basic knowledge now. They had a wall at which they were firing an electron from, let's say, over here. And they were firing that electron or two electrons.
It's called the double slit test.
Yes, it is. Yeah, through two slits.
Yeah.
And they found that depending on whether you're observing the electron or not, observation comes from your own consciousness, which actually doesn't come from the brain. We think the mind is in the brain and consciousness is in the brain. It's not.
I actually disagree on that. I think it comes from the brain.
Nope.
Because awareness is through our eyes and our ears.
That's not consciousness.
And it's in the brain. So when you die, I believe that there is no consciousness.
No, that's not what consciousness is at all.
What do you think consciousness is?
Consciousness isn't to do with just the senses. We think that consciousness is the senses, it's being awake. You think when you're in a coma, you're not conscious. Consciousness is far deeper than that.
When you're in a coma, you are consciousness. I do believe that.
You believe that you are conscious.
Like you're picking up things that you don't know consciously, but subconsciously you would have heard your parents there.
Yeah. Should we quickly go back to the split test?
Yeah.
The double split test.
I can't remember the exact name, but it's some double split test, whatever. Anyway, carry on.
So essentially, what they found was when they're observing the electron as it's being fired, they're observing it to go through these two slits in this first wall, and then it hits the back wall in alignment with these two slits here. And then they did the test again, this time without observing it, with no conscious observation, without any human input, consciousness input. And they found that the electron, instead of acting as an electron, as a singularity,
that's cool. Pong.
It stopped acting as a singularity and it acted as a wave, and it actually hit the entire wall. And that just goes to show that when you observe something, actually you are dictating the result of the outcome of that thing which you're observing. And that kind of reflects on what many people say: change your perception. It's all about how you see it. You're going about it the wrong way. You're thinking about it the wrong way. And this is something that I've been putting into practice a lot since I started looking into quantum physics when I was about 16, 17, but especially recently.
16, 17?
Yeah.
You learned the quantum physics?
Yeah.
I literally only started learning about it like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah,
That's a long time ago.
Yeah. I started,
Wow.
16,
YouTube
17.
wasn't even around then, literally.
Yeah, it was Google videos.
Where did you find out about it? From a book on the library?
No, it was YouTube. YouTube was just emerging.
And there was videos about quantum...
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, these were all like old well, not old, but these were back when they had full-length videos and documentaries. I was watching some videos, it was in the day of quantum physics as the new thing, and when, people started getting scared that, oh my God, we aren't real matter doesn't exist. That's essentially what quantum physics is talking about, which is now proven to be completely real, and this is something that reflects Einstein's work and many other people, Nikola Tesla's work. I don't know, you've heard of Tesla? Well,
Tesla's the car, right?
Yeah, Nikola Tesla.
I always thought that Tesla was the initial founder of Tesla, which is now run by not Mark Cuban, the other one.
Is it the Amazon guy?
No, the other one. Fuck.
It'll come back to us.
Anyway, I thought that Tesla was the founder of the Tesla company, and then whatever his name is, took over.
Nikola Tesla, I think
300 years ago, he was born.
Sure. No, he was at the start of the century. I'm not sure if he was Hungarian. Maybe he was Hungarian.
I am hungry right now though, but luckily we had some eggs.
Yeah. And he essentially found that we are surrounded by an infinite source of energy, which is not in matter. It's in antimatter. It's in dark matter. It's in the metaphysical space. You can't really call it space because space is made of solid things, whether it's air or particles or molecules or elements. And he found that in that, actually, that which permeates everything is the source of all physical matter. And that's kind of the basis of quantum physics. Essentially, when you look into, let's say, a molecule, then you've got the elements, then you look into the element, you've got the atom, then you look into the atom, then you've got the nucleus, which is made of nucleus. So the nucleus is made of protons and neutrons. Neutrons has no charge, protons has
get to a quantum level, which is like the end of it, and then that can be changed.
Well, when you keep going into it, then you find quarks, which is a smaller particle, and then going into that, that's when you go into what is called string theory, and actually we find that these things which we think are made up of physical singularities, physical things, actually is just vibrating strings of energy. That's what everything is. Everything is energy. Even though like this, me touching you right now, you think that that's physically me touching you, but it's just energy vibrating in a certain way.
All my cells are like dividing and moving all under the skin, and there's like never stays the same.
All of that is energy. None of it is actually physical. And so that's the basis of quantum physics. And that's why people get scared. They think, shit, like maybe are we living in an illusion? Are we creating this? And even, when you look at psychology and you look at the power of the brain, actually that reflects the first question, the power of the mind. What was I saying? Oh man, just had a glitch and my mind's just gone. Remind me what I was just saying about the power.
The end of the quantum entanglement and how people suddenly become scared that...
Quantum entanglement is different. That's a different thing. Completely different. Which is something we'll talk about actually.
Yeah, quantum wave.
String theory, power of the mind. Anyways, quantum physics. People are scared. All right, illusion. So people think that this is all reality, physical reality, whatever you think, whatever you feel. But actually, all of this is created by the brain. What you see isn't, your eyes don't see. It's not your eyes that see, it's the light that's going into the retina, which is flipped upside down, and then it's your brain that then takes in that electromagnetic frequency, which is light, and then that changes it, that your brain makes an image out of it. But there's nothing to say that your image is the true image. There's nothing to say that my image creation of
I see that as green, but your brain, for whatever reason, sees that as purple. Like,
actually, yeah, it's funny.
So there's no such thing as colour. Like there were so many tests that there was the dress. Remember the dress? There was a dress going around online.
and the
Do you
shoes
see
as
purple
well.
or do you see green?
And the shoes
Literally,
as well.
half people said purple, half said green. It's like, how can fucking half the world see what's clearly purple and say it's green? And that just shows that everything is one's own perception and nothing is just the same for everyone.
And
crazy.
That I saw the dress. I think the dress was either gold or blue.
That was it, yeah.
And then there was the shoes that were pink, grey or green. And actually me, depending on what thought I held in my mind...
also interesting.
About the colour, if I wanted to see it grey, I would see it grey. And then if I told my mind, actually there's pink in there, then you see the pink. And then if I told my mind it's blue, I see the blue.
You know Laurel, that voice thing, where it was Laurel or... there was a voice clip in it, Laurel. And there was the other word, can't remember what it was. Let's just say it was Wendy.
Yeah.
If you listen to it from the very beginning, you expecting to hear Laurel, you'd hear the whole thing, so it's Laurel. But if you sort of heard it and then interpreted it, then you'll hear Wendy. It's not Wendy, but it was another word. And some people heard Laurel, some people heard this, but you're right. When I focused on Laurel, I saw Laurel, and when I focused on Wendy, I saw Wendy. It's the same when they have a picture and they say, do you see a rabbit or do you see an upside down fox? You know, if you're just looking at it what it is.
Do you remember all those
you can actually see it. It's like, wow, it's how you see it in the first place.
There's optical illusions when we were kids. And then,
in the book.
Yeah, in the books. And then, when Google Images was the main source of any visual stimulation online. There's not much tea left. I think we have most of it.
Call the fucking tea lady. Where's Molly?
Molly the tea lady.
No, it's Polly, innit? Polly.
It could be a man.
Yeah.
Could be a man.
She could be questioning herself.
Yeah, no, but I mean, we could have a male who could be a tea man.
Absolutely, yeah. A tea man, a trans man, or teapot.
A tea man. The tea man. The tea lad.
Tea girl, teapot, and a tea man. And tea bag.
Yeah. Who's tea bagging who?
Well, it depends if she's kinky.
Right, let me get the last few drops. Man, this thing's so heavy. You think that there's stuff in it, but there's not.
So there is stuff in it.
A little bit.
Oh, well, make sure you get your polyphenols.
What's polyphenols?
Some kind of specific chemical in certain foods that is great for the body. It's found in olives, olive oil, dark chocolate, herbal teas. It's just good for you. Don't know the exact specifics of it. I sort of learned something once and then either do it or don't. And then if I'm not applying that action every day, just knowledge goes to the back of my head like some wine underground. It just sits there until you want to have a nice glass of wine. Yeah. Like, this is 1950s. Do you want this one? It's like knowledge I learned 50 years ago.
There you go.
No idea. It's just there when I want it.
So, power of the mind related to quantum physics. Yes, based on how you observe, from what place of intention and what place of perception you observe something, will ultimately dictate the outcome. And essentially, man, this is wide, man. This is huge. This is connected to everything, essentially. You've heard of whatever energy goes out comes back in. Whatever seed you sow, you will reap the results, reap the benefits. It's the same with energy. If it's and energy is everything, everything is energy. Quote Master Shri Akarshana. So thought is energy, and when you give out a certain type of energy, you're giving out these electromagnetic frequencies, which not only come from your brain, it comes from your heart, it comes from which
goes on to chakras, right? And different energies.
So chakras is different. Chakra means spinning wheel in Indian Sanskrit. It's chakra.
Chocolate.
Chakra.
I had some chocolate in my tea.
Chocolate. It's British.
It's cocoa beans you
had. Chakra means spinning wheel, and actually that's the wheel you have on the Indian flag. I didn't know that. And they also integrated the spinning wheel in one of their fighting techniques with the soldiers. When they advanced in the war lines, it wasn't linear, it wasn't guerrilla tactics. They had like spinning wheels of people spinning around in formation, which they found was super beneficial to winning wars, because they had it planned out in a way that they knew exactly what was going on. They could actually manipulate the opponents, and the opponents were just confused and they'd be fucked. Anyways, that comes from a film which I saw. I'll find that out and then I'll let you know. Fantastic film. Anyways.
Fantastic film. Great, fantastic, great. China.
Beautiful.
Had to thank my friend.
So, no, chakras is I mean, chakras is it's energy. Energy is everything. But chakras is different. Chakras have a specific function in the body system, not just the physical body, the energy body, the etheric body, the emotional body. And actually, the chakras, when people say they see auras, or there are cameras that can capture auras.
Oh yeah, 100%. Believe in that.
I mean, it's scientific fact.
Some high quality cameras, like film cameras, such a bright light going out, you can see like a white mist around the person.
It's called bioluminescence. Bioluminescence is something which every living thing has, whether it's a tree, whether it's an animal, a plant, a seed.
Does a vagina have one?
I wonder what colour it is. Actually, it's probably red. Pink. Because it's the root.
But blood, is it blue? Is it blue? But when it hits oxygen, it turns red?
I know, so...
That's what I got told when I was 10 or something.
I don't know what colour blood is. I don't think blood has a specific colour. It just gives out probably white light.
Did you not hear that at school? Like, it's blue until it hits oxygen, then it goes red.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know if it's actually true, but if you look there, you can kind of see it's kind of blue.
Well, that's why you got some veins which are blue and some veins which are darker, which are red. The ones that have been oxygenated are the ones that go back to your heart.
The alveoli.
That's in your lungs.
That's pasta.
Ravioli. So what were we saying? Yeah, so to bring it back a little bit, whatever energy you give out, whether it's emotional energy, whether it's thought energy, it comes back around. They're saying what goes around comes around. If you're going to be a dick to people, people will be a dick. If you're going to be nice, people will be nice. So that goes with whatever outlook you have on life is the life you're going to get. Actually, that's how strong the mind is. That's how fast we manifest, and that's how fast we create our life. That's why all the grumpy people, all the moaners, all the complainers, they always find things to complain about, and actually they're just feeding that vicious cycle, that vicious circle of negative energy, and that's what they give out, so that's what they get.
Speaking on that thing, right, I believe there's multiple types of man. There's not just like one man, right?
No.
Every man, there's like, depending on how much your ancestors evolved, let's just say you've got ape to caveman, that could be 2,000 years, and then you've got ape to caveman 1,000 years. Your body will have adapted to eating more foods, which means that, for example, some people will be allergic to certain foods because it hasn't been in their line of generation compared to others.
Yeah, and look at like the Inuits, the ones that live in the North Arctic Circle in the north, the northern hemisphere. Their diet is predominantly fat.
Well, they can eat raw fish because they've just had raw fish, and they can have more fats than raw sugar. Meat, and then
all
farmers
the
used
blubber,
to have cow milk, so they have no lactose issues.
Blubber from whales, blubber from seals, all the Arctic animals, and they're quite happy. Just that their body has adapted over the thousands and millions of years to be able to process that and give them life and maintain them life. Just go to Asia, man. These people eat spices every day. You take an Italian guy, put him in Asia, he's gonna have the shits.
Exactly, like everything is about adaptation. So, look, two different types of men. There's negative people where their cells are made up of like negative energy. So there's the cells are just getting destroyed all the time. Positive person, cell regrowth. They're two different people, and the mindset is the same. So people see the negatives in stuff. People can see negatives, but also someone else can see positives. There's no like one way. It's that way or that way. That can be classed as like, black or white, red or black, positive, negative. Yeah. So it's not just one. There's literally two types of people.
Whatever you believe is true. Whatever you set out to think is essentially true to you.
So there's no wrong and right.
There is no
it's
wrong
just
right.
You see the laurel or gold. I see blue. I see a spirit ghost, you see just a bit of dust, Everything is perception, and there's no right.
Because sometimes I work in schools to help out little kids, and I was with a kid yesterday, and he was colouring in a car. I told him to colour in his car, and he was like, I'm going to colour it in green. And he picked up like
a yellow.
Yeah, literally. He picked up like a golden...
Well, isn't that interesting?
He picked up a golden yellow, clearly golden yellow crayon.
To you.
And this
clearly to you.
Yeah, and this is the second time that I've seen signs of colour blindness with this kid. And I was like, all right. And there was a green pencil pot right next to it. And I said, what colour is this, Dante? And
Dante is a good name.
Yeah, Dante is his name. And he was like, it's green. So then I was looking out for other like golden yellowish things. for him to tell me the colour, and he was like, I found like a throw on a seat in the classroom. And he was like, yeah, that's green too. And I was looking at the teacher, I was like, miss, what colour is this to you? She's like, that's yellow. I was like, oh, I see that as yellow. I asked the other kids, what colour is that? So, that kid only sees that yellow to us as green, and that's never going to change. And who is to say that his reality is wrong and mine is right?
If you take away everything physical that was made from someone's mind, you're just left with water, ocean, grass, trees. Everything is created by someone's mind. So if someone in their mind had this vision, and this vision came out as that, which matched what he was seeing, well, if we all see the same thing differently, you might vision something, but it's actually not that. So your perception of a colour is just what you see in your brain based on the light in your eye and how it works. It's different to mine. But if we're taught that's red and blue, by knowledge we know that's blue, that's pink, that's yellow. If we are told what is that, but if you take away everything, it just is. It's just a bit of light, different shade of light. So if you were to invent this before I did, that might come out a different colour. So everyone sees something so different, and nothing exists. Like nothing does exist just because you see it. Doesn't mean
that reflects on the first question, which is what is the power of the mind? The power, essentially, the mind, and this has been scientifically proven. I'll try and find the tests to show that the mind isn't in the brain. Actually, the mind is in the entire body.
I believe the mind is energy. It's power of the mind, like power of projection of energy.
So that would be consciousness. But the mind, essentially, is just the concentration of your nervous system, which is not just in your brain, it's everywhere. You've got nerves, you've got electrons firing everywhere.
So do you believe if I shot you and you died, you'd be conscious still?
Yeah, I just wouldn't be in the physical realm. That's what spirit is. That's what consciousness is. Consciousness is spirit.
So you believe in like afterlife and stuff?
Yeah, of course.
That's where I don't, which is why I believe it's in the brain, because I questioned everything. I believed in all of that, but then I questioned it where I basically over-question stuff. So if I go back to like Oliver 3 years ago, I'd be like you. Consciousness is everything. When you die, there's afterlife, reincarnation, come back as a cow, whatever. But then I sort of, I questioned it. So now it's all about, okay, I'm a plant. When a plant's here, it's alive. And then when it's no water, no sun, it's dead. Sadly, I questioned everything to the point where my belief of afterlife just didn't exist.
I don't. Okay, man, we're going off on a tangent a little bit. I think that's the point of the whole podcast.
Yeah, do you know where it'll go?
No, we don't die. You don't die. Death is an illusion. It's just the consciousness is another word for the soul, which is the soul is just a connection to all that is. Some people call it God.
If you died, your energy aura would still be here, even though your heart stops. Like your energy, if you could like see a projection of vibration.
So,
if your heart stopped, you'd still have that vibration, I believe.
The thing that makes my body live, the very life force, is soul. The body exists in the soul.
So mind, body, and the soul. I had to try and understand. It's like unconscious, subconscious. Is it?
So
what's your definition of mind, body, and soul?
Okay, so soul originates from the all that is. Originates from the source, which some people call God, some people call Allah, some people call Krishna. All the different names. Some people call it Gaia, some people call it creation.
Easter Bunny?
Easter Bunny? No.
Big Bird?
Big Bird, big guy, the big man, the great creator. No, the body, the physical is contained within the soul. That's the difference between a dead body and a body that's alive. The energy, that life, is the spirit, is the soul. And basic high school physics. No energy can be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred. So all this energy, not only like the heat, but the kinetic energy, the emotional energy. What is emotion? Energy in motion. Emotion, energy in motion. All of that, where does it go, man? If you think, when someone dies, they don't just slowly go out like a fire, They die. One moment they're alive. If you shot me, one moment I'm alive, one moment I'm dead. So
where does that
energy go?
In terms of like life or death, but obviously you could die eventually over time.
Yeah, that would be a slow illness.
Like cancer, your cells will start to die, and essentially it's like a plant that's brown, but still's got a leaf that could go back to life again.
But life, you're not half alive, you're not half dead. You're either alive or you're either dead. There's no in between.
No.
And that's something that we can't argue on.
No,
right?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I die, where does all this energy that is me, these ideas, these thoughts, these memories, these emotions, this pain, this pleasure, where does all that go?
So thoughts and knowledge, do we agree it's in the brain?
No.
So how you perceive when you think of something.
We think it's in the brain, but this is like outdated knowledge.
So when you hear a thought.
When I hear a thought.
When you hear that thought, like that voice saying you need to tidy your bedroom, do we agree that's in the brain? Or in the eardrum? Which is connected to the brain?
No, you don't. When the thought isn't in, it's got nothing to do with ears. Ears is just the vibration of sound waves reaching your eardrum, and then that vibrates the bone in your ear, and then the brain creates what we understand as sound, as whatever.
So if you hear a thought, that's in the brain.
That's in the, I guess so.
So do we agree that the brain essentially dies when we die? Everything. So if a thought is in the brain, and when the brain dies, the thoughts die, would you agree?
I don't think that thought is in the brain, and at the same time, thought is a very limited human thing. And I say this because, like, I'm one of those spiritual woo-woo people. Thought is...
We were speaking about in Costa that when we think of something, it's from someone else's thought and brain. So it's not in our head, it's from someone else thinking about something. But then you've got a stored thought, which is essentially...
That's memory.
Yeah, so yeah. So there's thought memory. Okay, so now I can understand why you think that thoughts... I believe that, for example, thoughts in terms of memory, when your brain dies, it goes. But then you're saying thoughts live on, which is the vibration.
Because actually, what you're saying are two conflicting ideas. So
it's like banana and orange still fruit, yeah? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So let me tell you why I think it's conflicting ideas. When the first day we met, we went for a coffee. Actually, we met 9 days ago. And anyways, I was out busking in Leicester Square in London. We went for coffee. We had a chat, and we were saying that thought is everywhere. Like ideas, we think we have an idea, but actually that's not true. And this has been proven scientifically through the behavior of certain animals. You'll find a certain animal, let's say in Australia, I think they found this in rats. There was a change in behavior in rats in Australia, and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of miles away on the other side of the earth, this exact shift in behavior and pattern and adaptation in that specific species of rat in this part of the world, actually those rats in, let's say in Europe, had exactly the same or something extremely similar. So this reflects on the idea that thought is not in your head, and that's where I think thought isn't in the brain. The brain is a receiver and a perceiver. It is not a creator.
So maybe if we decipher thought...
It's an antenna. Your brain is an antenna, and it gives out. It receives and it gives out, just like a telephone.
So I believe that if there was no other human around, if there was nothing around, right, let's just say we have our eyes closed, you come into the earth, right, come out of mum's vagina, eyes are closed, there's no human, there's nothing, it'll be pitch black. There wouldn't be any thought, because thought is a sound or somebody else. And so therefore there'd just be like...
I think
like the vibration of the plant, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, actually, funny you say that. Plants have sounds.
It would just be like, imagine it's pitch black, you can't see nothing. What is there? Well, there is nothing, because you can't speak. You've no knowledge of awareness of what a thought is, so it's just nothing.
The only way and that reflects on Einstein's theory of relativity, which is the physical realm, though, without the opposite, the original thing cannot exist.
So like negative and positive, it has to be...
If there is only negative, then what is positive? If you have no opposite to compare to, like, we only know cold is cold because hot is hot.
Yes, correct.
And vice versa. If you take cold out, hot is just... it's nothing. And it's the same with thought. If it's just you on your...
So it's just water, but then it's not hot or cold water, it's just water.
It's just existentially as it is.
And if we don't know the word water, then we put our finger in it, we don't know, is it wet? So like, what is wet? It's just, it is what it is. It dries when it's hot and it...
Polarity and duality, we only know one thing for what it is compared to what it is not. The I am against the I am not. the isness and the is notness. And this is very fundamental spiritual knowledge.
Speaking of the thing about when they did the rat thing, and then there was other rats the other side of the world also thinking the same, whatever. There was an experiment done where they got a group of people to pray or to chant or to focus their mind on water in China. There was like a river in China or some ocean, whatever, and they were like saying all these positive vibrations and thoughts to it. And they took the water before, froze it, and then put it under like a microscope thing. You could see the pattern. It wasn't a crystal, which was in perfect harmony and all symmetrical. It was a fucked up like a fucking monster. Yeah. But then when they were praying and putting positive love and thoughts into it, they did it again, and it was a perfect snowflake, all symmetrical and harmony. So proves that thoughts can travel anywhere in the world. So like the rat thing.
Yeah, thought is it transcends time and space. I'm just searching up the name of the guy he's a Japanese scientist, physicist who died not so long ago. Dr. Emoto. I want to find his
full name. Rest in peace, Mr. Japan.
Masaru Emoto, Japanese author and physicist. Yes. So, power of the mind. Although we think that, like, mind is detached from heart, which is emotion. Sorry, microphone. Sorry, guys. I just smashed the
microphone. You've got your earphones in on the train. You think there's a fucking bomb.
Yeah. So these people, they had different jars of water. And one jar was subject to...
rock music.
They did it with music, they did it with intention and emotion. Let's go with emotion for now. Thought. So one thought was, I love you. One thought was given blessings by a monk. Another thought was...
rice as well. Did you see the rice one?
They did it with
the rice was mouldy and black.
Yeah. The other was... actually, this is going to come around to the body and cells, which you were saying about positive and negative thinking. Very interesting. So... yeah, you had I love you, you had I hate you, you had some sort of confusion and chaos.
I want to fuck you.
And then, so what they did, they froze the water, and then that created, I guess, snowflake. They put it under a microscope. They could see the form that the water had taken when it had solidified. And the ones that were subject to positive emotions, like I love you, Buddhist monk blessings, they had a very orderly, very naturally beautiful, symmetrical.
And the same when they played Mozart. When they played Mozart, Beethoven, amazing symphonies. The particles were symmetrical. When they played rock, shitty heavy metal, like
it was chaotic.
It was all like
it was
a fucking demon.
Yeah, and all the positively charged, even though positive and negative again is a human construct. All the positively charged water was very well organized and beautiful, and all the negatively charged water was ugly.
It was same for the rice.
Chaotic,
They had loads of rice in different things of water. Positive love rice lasted say 2 weeks, and it had like barely any mold. The rice that you were like hating against and like music, all black and moldy and like dead basically. Put that in the middle, negative, lots of black until there's loads of black. Positive, just fresh rice, and then kind of a bit of mold. So thoughts, vibration controls everything. That's why people pray for the food.
That's why I pray. I give thanks to my food.
You're charging your food.
Because essentially you're changing the molecular structure of your
That's
food.
going to go in you. So that will destroy your cells if it's going to be mouldy in a few weeks.
That's why microwaves are bad, because it destroys. It's radioactivity. That's what microwave is, and you're blasting every molecule of your food with microwaves.
Like it's quick, and governments say like it doesn't kill you and harm you. Yes, you're not going to die from it, but over time, when you understand, it's going to have effects.
You don't know if you're going to die from it or not, because we've only had microwaves.
Please don't pull that down.
Yeah, I saw you looking
for fucking ages putting that up.
We don't know if microwaves will kill or not, but it's definitely not good for you. We'll see. We'll see in the next 20, 50 years when those generations who have only fed themselves from microwave.
Same for vape pens. We're only realising everyone starts to die in 20 years that it was like cigarettes. It's too late, and everyone's addicted.
Same for Wi-Fi.
It's everything.
We don't know how Wi-Fi is going to affect us. We're probably, we'll see.
TV, sugar, phones, computer.
Sugar we know is bad because, just look at,
Knew about that years ago.
Yeah. But so that, again, to reflect on the original question we brought into the conversation, the power of the mind. So if a thought can affect a whole jug of water, Okay, what percentage is your body? It's
Like 8% or whatever.
It's between 70 and 95, I think. I'm not sure of the exact numbers.
This is why water is crucial for your body. But when you understand
But you got to have good water.
Well, yeah, exactly. You can't just have like shitty tap water or stream
Especially
water
here
with
in
mud.
London, guys. Stream water is good because stream water...
I meant like swamp water, not
swamp
stream.
water,
Stream's good.
Yeah. So, that's why it's super important. And actually, I've got a quote here that I sent to a friend from... this was a quote from Bruce Lee. And the reason why you should be extremely careful at how you talk to yourself and how you think about yourself is because whatever thought you have, that affects all the water in every single cell of the body. Like everything is made up of cells, which is made up of smaller and smaller and smaller parts. And that affects the water. And
which the tests have proved.
This is old now. Like Emoto was doing this. I mean, he died. He was doing this in the 70s and 80s and maybe 60s. I'm not sure. I'm not a huge follower of him.
This is something I don't think many people who are watching this will actually have a clue about. The fact that there's science proven that when you talk to water or have a thought about a certain bit of water, it changes it. If we're 90% water and we eat food which is made up of water, then that same, what's happening in that jar, like in the rice, is going to be doing the same thing to our body and our organs and our cells, which is why it's crucial in terms of when you say like you hate someone, it has such dire consequences.
It does. And
no one puts it like that in that order.
This guy actually did a YouTube video. It was really cool because you could literally see the physical, concrete result. He did it with 2 plants. He bought 2 plants the same day, exactly the same plants. One plant, I'm in London now, so I gotta say
One
plant. I grew up in the north of England, that's why. One plant, he was talking to it in such nice ways, and he was caring, he was loving, he was talking.
You, little plant.
Literally, he was like, "You're so beautiful. I love you. You're amazing." The other one was like, "You're so ugly.
Yeah, you're a gun. Your mother's a bastard."
Yeah. And then he gave the 2 plants, 25 days to grow. And after the 25 days, he showed the photos. He showed in the videos.
It's extraordinary, isn't it, when you think about it?
And one was prolifically bigger, and the other one hadn't grown at all. It had grown, the leaves had gone dry, even though he was feeding them and watering them in exactly the same way. One hadn't grown. It was looking ugly. It was looking brown. There was no flowers. The other one had grown flowers. It was beautifully green. It was bright. It was vivid.
So that's why you have to stay away from negative people, always whining, moaning about life, who just hate everything, who are just depressed, unhappy. Yeah, you don't want people to be unhappy because it's just not the nice human thing. But if that person is a negative person, unhappy, always moaning, that vibration is negative. You are the water, like in that rice thing. That's going to be happening to your body. Hence why you feel like nervous or anxious around people who are negative, because you feel like it's got bad vibes.
Definitely. And well, your tribe is your vibe.
Yeah.
And that's why you should really gain complete control of your thoughts and how you think about yourself, how you talk to yourself. Even like I found the picture here. This is a quote from Bruce Lee. It says, "Don't speak negatively about yourself, even as a joke. Your body doesn't know the difference.
Absolutely.
Words are energy and cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. Change the way you speak about yourself and you can change your life. What you're not changing, you're also changing."
Hang on, the spelling bit, okay? Interesting. So spelling is obviously the way that the word is made up, which is the sound.
Latin,
so the dissection of the word, dissection of the sound, like the arpeggio scale or whatever, C, D, F, G. So you put that in order, positive, negative, like the higher it goes up, type of thing, right?
Well, actually,
spell is what you cast. So like.
Well, it's even simpler than what you've I've
never heard of it like that.
Like a spell, we know, magicians and wizards and in magic you cast a spell, you cast a good spell.
Putting out a thought
you cast
on someone.
A bad spell, but what spell comes from is spell. What do you spell? The only thing you spell in the whole
I've
world,
never heard of that before.
The only thing you spell is words. So that's what he's talking about. The only thing
I've not heard that literally.
So you spell words, so that's why it's called a spell. You need to watch what words you use.
Is his last name Ling?
This is Bruce Lee.
If it was Ling, spell Ling.
Yeah, I wish I had my symbols.
No, but honestly, I've never heard it like that before. Because obviously, I know spell was like essentially saying
casting a spell,
putting karma on someone.
We didn't
wishing
think,
like bad stuff,
we didn't think about why it's called a spell, but actually,
spelling, spell, cast a spell, sound, vibration,
cast a word. You're just using words, and it's simple, man. Just look at, it's very simple. So it's been proven on plants. if you have a kid, those of you who have kids, I don't have any children. I'm not married. I don't have a girlfriend.
I think I've got 5 kids. When I went to Thailand, I couldn't resist. The ladyboys, they were fantastic.
So ladyboys, you made kids with ladyboys.
I don't know how. I don't know.
You got some good soldiers.
Something
man.
happened. Like
someone cast a spell on you.
Yeah, like miracle. I didn't think men could give. Oh, it was a woman. It was a woman. Okay. But anyway, no, moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Thank fuck. What were we talking about?
Ladyboys and spell.
Children, right? So, like, if you start, let's say your child, I don't know, he drops a glass or and
you say bad child.
Yeah, he does something that's completely human and everyone's done and it's just something normal of everyday life. He's fallen over, or I don't know, he's picking up something that maybe you might think is dirty. If you're going to start using negatively charged energy or using words that are charged with, heavy negative emotion, that's going to have a direct effect on the kid. I mean, it's simple. He's going to go in a strop. He's going to go in a mood. He might rebel against you. He might start shouting at you. Whereas if you used kind words, if you used positively charged energy, kind energy, that would be directly reflected back on you because he would cooperate and he would listen. And then, that's why a lot of kids are traumatized. A lot of kids are rebellious. A lot of kids are, they have,
because their parents just keep shouting at them.
Because they're just receiving the energy that the parents are getting.
Yeah, and they expect, they want to get they want their kid to be good before. So they already expect the kid to be good, but the kid's only going to be doing what?
A pure reflection.
Yeah, so if you keep shouting at the kid and he doesn't know what's good or bad, then every time it happens, it's just going to keep going in that negative cycle. Yeah. That's why words, when you take certain words, they're negative vibration words like cunt, like it's a big, powerful, deep tone word, whereas like love, the sound, it's a positive frequency, the
everything is vibration,
and so that kid's just going to keep going back in that cycle unless you teach him how to get out of it and how to hold the cup properly so it doesn't drop. He's going to keep dropping it. You're going to tell him off and he's going to be in that pattern of dropping it again. And then
every time he picks up a cup, he's going to shit himself and he's going to drop it.
So if it's a negative event counteracted by a positive mum saying, "Oh, don't worry, it's okay."
And where does
positive vibration counteract the negative event? Bang, and that stores in your brain as a negative vibration sound, and you hear those words of.
And where does speech comes from? It comes from thought. Where does thought come from? According to you, comes from the mind. So that reflects to our original question: the power of the mind. The power of the mind will create or destroy the well-being of anything, anyone.
Thought is a vibration which comes from energy, but I'm saying it's stored in the brain.
Vibration is energy. It is not. Okay.
I suppose what I'm getting confused with, maybe it's memory, right? If you don't know a thought yet, then it hasn't entered the brain.
Memory is not, and this has been proven. Water is the main source of the main store of energy, and that's why I don't know if you saw in my kitchen underneath my water bottles, I've got little coasters with like I've got the yin and yang, I've got the Metatron square. Metatron is some angelic entity, and then I've got another one which is the circle of life. And the reason I put my water on these things is because the energy that comes from these drawings, because everything is vibration is everything is energy.
I agree with all that.
That has an effect on the molecular structure of my water.
Check this out. You should do a positive drawing of like a pretty field and then a drawing of like Satan or whatever. Put your waters on there, okay?
It tastes different.
Freeze it. Freeze it. And then find like in your school you might have like a thing in the science lab. Test it, like that theory of can a piece of paper with their pretty field in versus a piece of paper with a fucking Saddam Hussein on really change the water, and in which case if you drink it it's going to change your cells in your body. Honestly, let's try that.
Well, it's really interesting because
that seems crazy, like a picture like
the water I have, and this is something I've noticed, the water, so I drink tap water from London, but I put it through a Brita filter and then I put it in a glass bottle because I don't want these BPAs and like plasticides in my body.
Continue talking, I'm just going to make sure it's still recording. First time I've done this.
Yeah. I'll wait till you're back. We good?
Wonderful. 45 minutes and I feel we've only just got started. Crazy.
So, and it's interesting because let's say the water that's on the yin and yang coaster and it's the same water, it's the same Brita filter, it's the same tap, it's just glass bottle, 3 different glass bottles. The yin and yang water has a different taste to the Metatron water, which has a different taste to the circle of life water.
Because you know how energy doesn't stay the same, it doesn't go, it's just there.
Energy is
if that person who created that picture was a positive person when they were streaming a positive picture, that energy is all charged around it. And so just because she's fucked off back home, that vibration's still there going in the water. Whereas if some bastards like drawing Saddam Hussein on a piece of paper, put some water on top, that energy is going to go in the water. It's going to change it. And so it's absolutely true, which is amazing. Like,
and
truly incredible.
The reason these designs work is because they're following natural harmony of the universe. They're following natural, like, the golden ratio, the pi number, and the idea of sacred geometry. Although people think this is all woo-woo stuff, this is the basic fundamentals.
Hang on, speak about sacred geometry.
Sacred geometry. Okay, sacred.
Not sure if I already know it.
Geometry. It's the natural occurrence of the placement and the positioning of things in physical reality, in the physical universe, and it's the natural. So it's in numbers. You can see it in it's expressed. It can be written and recorded.
A map, you've got north and then the numbers.
That's got nothing
What's it
to
called?
Do with it. That's got nothing to do with it.
But like the compass of where you hide the treasure. They'd have
the coordinates.
Yeah, it's the same as coordinates.
Nothing to do with
Nothing to do with coordinates.
Nothing to do with it. So essentially,
Is it relevant? Is it similar?
No.
No?
Nothing. It's called sacred geometry because it's geometry that is found in every little part of the universe, whether it's a galaxy, whether it's the Milky Way, whether it's a solar system, whether it's the positioning of the moon, whether it's the shape of your cells. If you look at flowers, the way that the inner part, I can't remember the center of the flower, what it's called, the bit that gets pollinated. On a sunflower, if you look at a sunflower, I've got a book there, Intention Experiment, which shows it.
Let's just call it the thing in the middle which sticks up like a penis, and it's got some.
It might be a flat penis.
Pollen on it.
It might be, it might be a rounded. Anyways, all of these things follow the positioning and the placement, which is found everywhere in the universe. That's why it's called sacred, because it's everywhere. And so you have the pi. I don't exactly remember the golden ratio. It's 1 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 5 to 7.
Gotta be honest, I've not heard of this before.
Check it out, man. This is science. This isn't like, and spirituality. Everyone thinks, oh, it's fake. It's non-physical. I can't touch it. So therefore, but quantum physics has proven that everything is made of something which is untouchable. We are made of the untouchable, and spirituality is not fake. It's not a means of faith. It's not even faith.
It's not religion, it's not faith.
No.
It's energy, like science, and then religion is belief of a...
Religion is a creation of man as a means to control people using this higher... Your religion comes from spiritual teachings. If you look at all the religions, the untampered information, the untampered rules of all religion originally comes from spiritual fundamental knowledge. But then...
Spirit, vibration, energy, science. It's not...
It's all... There is no difference, man. There is no difference between spirituality and science. And we'll see. And I'm going to make a disclaimer here.
Are you homosexual? No? Sorry.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not homosexual, no. I prefer... I like women.
You prefer the vulva of the plant?
Whatever
you want to call it.
I prefer the V.
The V, the
V. Than the D. I'm not a D man, I'm a V man. Anyways, so my disclaimer is that, and you can hold me accountable for this, I would be prepared to lay down $1 billion.
Have you got a Bible? I'm going to put your hand on it.
I don't have a Bible. No, I don't believe in the
I've got a book called Conversation with God you could put you on.
I'm so glad you brought this up. This is my Bible. This is a book by Neil Donald Walsh, which was written in the 90s. There's book 1, book 2, book 3. I've read them, all 3 of them. I'm rereading them. That's how good they are. This is the essential fundamental knowledge that was in the original Bible before man tampered with it. Man
fucked everything up
because they found that they could use God and all these power structures, or they could use it against humanity to control humanity.
And then they can get all those people to
do
build their house, to farm their field, so they don't have to do it themselves.
They can manipulate, they can kill, they can get what they want, they can make money, anyways, that's a very touchy subject because some people are still caught in that paradigm of religious obligations. But actually, man has created God in the image of man, but man is although man is a part of God, like just like your nail is your nail and you can rip it off, but it's a part of you, it's part of your identity.
Speaking of nail, I've been taking vitamin C for the last few months because we're the only mammal that doesn't create vitamin C, because we had so much food going back in time with vitamin C in that we stopped creating it. And now we're having KFC and...
You mean we've destroyed all the food sources that have vitamin C?
No. It's like years ago we used to have like, just say pure nuts and fruit, which had a lot of vitamin C. So our body stopped creating it, and now we're living off KFC, fucking Greg's pasties and nonsense, which doesn't really have as much vitamin C. It's all man-made. Process is like, it's all destroyed and like it's not pure anymore. So vitamin C creates collagen, which basically knits together the cells. I've been taking vitamin C. My nails are fantastic.
Yeah?
Yeah, like my nails are brand new nails. Like you can see the lines in them.
Hell, man.
If you look at the lines in them, it's basically new nails.
Great nails.
And it's the same for hair. Like this may be a coincidence, but
hair and nail are made of the same matter.
When I had long hair in London,
Where do you live now?
Bracknell.
Where's Bracknell?
By the Queen. I'm neighbours of the Queen, right? She's always
Bring her over
cutting her lawn. Never will. When I shaved my hair, I saw grey. No joke. I saw grey when I shaved my hair.
On your hair, do you mean?
Yeah. Now, there's no grey as far as I'm aware, and it might be something to do with the fact I started taking vitamin C.
Maybe. Was grey, was it like dandruff?
No, like grey hair.
Oh,
grey hair. Whoa. Like the hair was grey, and I'm pretty sure now...
Your hair is all black. You've got good head of hair, man.
It's black.
That's really nice.
So yeah, like this, I do recommend people to take vitamin C. Because
and the most natural form of taking vitamin C, for those of you who wish to not go through the pharmaceutical route,
is a chicken burger from McDonald's.
Exactly, with nice spicy chicken nuggets. No, vitamin C comes from citrus fruits. Citrus fruits, so anything that's lemon, anything that's grapefruits, oranges, tangerines, clementines, all of that. And if you want to eat fruit, it's better assimilated by the body in the evening.
When I used to go to London, I used to have hot water. I used to put orange, lemon, lime, ginger, like cut up ginger, and honey, and I used to mix it and make this amazing like fruit sweet drink.
Do you know what?
It was amazing.
That reminds me.
Amazing.
That reminds me of my first week in London. So this is my 3rd month in London. I've only been here for 3 months, and I went to this place. I can't remember the name of it. It's in Shoreditch. It's like this square bit where you've got tables and different food stalls, and I asked for a lemon and ginger tea, and I thought she was just giving me a tea bag.
But she put a piece of ginger floating to the top and a bit of lemon.
She put
great,
in the fruit makers.
Squeeze that ginger. Powerful.
In the juicer. The juices, chunk of ginger with the skin and all, chunk of lemon with the skin and all. No, it wasn't squeezed. It was.
No, I'm saying you got to squeeze it to get the real like strong ginger flavour.
Yeah, well, it was in a juicer where it just. Because there's different types of juices. There's juices which take out the fibre, which is actually another piece of information which is interesting for anyone who's willing to become health conscious, which I think you are.
Absolutely.
You're...
Obsessed but in control.
It's a good obsession to have. Well, obsession. It's just... Anyway.
It's just a discipline of thought, really.
It depends on how much you value your life. If you want to save yourself, go into hospital for the rest of your life.
I want to live to 120.
If you want to be an active old person, if you want to be able to enjoy all of your life, your kids, your grandkids, if that's what you choose, even without that.
Not having kids.
I don't know if I'm going to have kids.
I'm going to adopt and give them back.
Anyways, back to...
When they start becoming a nightmare.
Fucking hell.
Go to your room. No, right, I'm going to call them up and say, no. Go to your room then. Yeah?
Back to what we were saying. Your body can only assimilate the benefits of fruit if you take that fruit juice or whatever with the fiber of the fruit. So, even though we think fruit juice is good, it does give you some good things. But if you want to get the full potential of the fruit,
absolutely,
just chop your orange and chunk it.
Absolutely.
So, vitamin C is in there. What else were we saying? We've cool.
It's good. It's what I envisioned. It will link to the next bit. Just on this topic, right? I'm just going to read this, right? You cannot experience what you don't know.
Let me just clarify quickly. Where are you reading from?
Great. Just there.
So what you're reading, this font here is
Comic
God.
Sans?
No, this is God talking.
Arial.
And this font here is Neil Donald Walsh. This book is Conversation with God. Neil Donald Walsh literally went through channeling, through telepathy, into an uncommon dialogue. Telepathy is just the sharing of...
We're going to speak about that in a minute.
We'll talk about... Oh, there's so much we could talk about that. So yeah, go ahead. This is God talking. Go on.
Okay. David Attenborough voice.
You cannot experience what you don't know. And you know you are in heaven right now because you have not experienced it. You see, for you it is a vicious cycle, bicycle, who cares? You have not found a way yet to experience what you don't know. And you do not know what you have not experienced.
So what it's saying is that you only know what you don't, you only know what you know, but just because you know it doesn't mean it actually is real. And if you don't know, then it doesn't exist.
Yep.
And there's no such thing as like when you die you go to heaven, and if you're bad you go to hell under the ground with fire.
That doesn't exist.
You are in
That's a
heaven
human
right
creation.
now,
We are.
meaning how do you feel? Do you feel good about your life? That is heaven. I
Thank
feel
you.
great. If you're a miserable,
And
sad, depressed person,
Bob
you're
Marley,
in hell.
Didn't Bob Marley talk about that in one of his songs?
He probably knows all that
He
shit
did.
anyway.
Bob Marley did. Yeah, he was a very advanced spiritual being.
There's no destination towards heaven. That's like what people used to control people by. Like if you do this, then you might go to heaven.
At the same time, if you choose to believe in hell, you will experience hell. If you choose to believe in heaven, you will. And what actually the true fundamental spiritual, spiritual. People don't like that word. They're scared of it. The true fundamental origin of hell has nothing to do with going to a place underground which is hot, full of demons and all the bad, naughty.
It's just negative vibration, positive vibration.
What hell is actually is the relationship you have with yourself. Are you happy with yourself? Do you love yourself? Do you enjoy life? Do you have a healthy balance
Is
in your
everything
life?
going the way you want? Loving family, friends, good job, people, nice food. That's
all
heaven.
it is. That's heaven.
I'm in heaven right now.
Yeah, me too.
I'm on holiday and I went to heaven.
Yeah.
I could have gone to Ibiza. I could have gone to America.
Yeah.
I could have gone back to Thailand with those ladyboys, but I chose to go to heaven.
Did you actually sleep with a ladyboy?
No, that was a joke. I have slept with one ladyboy.
You did?
Yeah, one or two, but not in Thailand. This was some like escort from like a local.
You slept with a ladyboy?
Yeah, just to take off the bucket list.
For real?
But she looked so feminine.
Hang on, wait, but she had a dick?
She did, yeah.
So anal?
No, she tried to stick it in, but it fucking really hurt so much. It was like that. I was like, ow! No, and
but it had a penis.
It had a penis.
Sorry.
He or she. I don't know whether.
Should we come up with a word or is there a word? Maybe those who are watching or listening to this podcast, you could email Oliver and
flood
tell
my
us.
Instagram with.
There probably is a word that we're not aware of that is politically accepted and correct to describe someone that is neither he or she. That'd be interesting.
It's binary. No, non-binary. Or gender fluid.
Yeah.
Listen, right, on Tinder.
But what's the pronoun for that? What's the pronoun? Pronouns like he, she. What is like it's not a he or it's not a she, is it?
I don't. It's either they.
Should we find it out?
I think it's they. They associate themselves with they.
Very
but anyway, it's non-binary, which means they don't associate with male or female in the mind.
Yeah,
obviously,
that's the
you have a
identity.
penis or vagina, you are male or female biologically, but the pronoun of like the mind, because it's all in the mind, is they.
They, that's right.
But on Tinder, you've got male, female.
Yeah.
No joke, there's 50 of them. There's non-binary, gender fluid, genderqueer, queer, bi-queer, gay queer. There's fucking loads of them. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, what? I had no idea these even existed. It's like, there's loads of them.
I think people need to chill out and
it's like,
not even identify.
No, it's like, just be you, okay? Who cares if you've got a cock or vagina? Be you. If you want to wear women's clothes,
some people have both.
If you want to go to the gym and look like a muscly man, do it. Fine. Be happy.
Did you know that a lot of the Native American Amerindian tribes had more than one gender?
What, they had a vagina and a cock?
No, they don't associate gender depending on your genitalia disposition.
So there's sex and then there's gender. Yes. I believe you have to differentiate the word. I think gender and sex has always been. Gender and sex, when you look at forms online, has always been, are you male or female? Yeah. But if you dissect it, the sex says, were you born with a vagina or a cock? Gender, what you want to be. So you can just be who you want to be. Uh-huh. You could be a girl today, bloke tomorrow. You could be both. You could be more feminine. You could be masculine. Whatever the fuck you want to be.
Hey. Hang on. Oh, are they talking about different languages? No. She, her.
But you know, like the tribes, the tribe people years ago.
Yeah.
The woman.
Yeah.
Like, she had to be like strong to partake in like fights and like, the ants where you put your ant, there's like tribe games. Mm-hmm. You had to be strong, and at the same time the bloke,
they, so the pronoun is they.
Yeah,
you're right. Apple, very good.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we can't do that. We can't advertise.
It's on my fucking website to do what we want.
All right. Okay. Cool.
This is why it's on my website, because I can say what the fuck I want to say. No, oh, you can't say the word trans, and YouTube takes off my adverts. Fuck them.
Fuck 'em.
When I want to fuck them.
What were you saying?
So yeah, I had lots of things on the bucket list. One
Are
of
you
them
gay?
was
But are you bi?
No, I'm straight.
And
I do not find guys attractive.
Yeah.
If something was in my arse and it felt good, with it as a cucumber, a footstool, your toe, or a cock, leave it in if it feels good. But just because you're a bloke, I'm not going to say get it out.
Yeah.
If it was a dinosaur.
But what about the whole ladyboy experience?
Yeah, so that was just a thought I had since I was young, like off the bucket list.
Yeah.
Just wanted to tick everything off the list.
Just an experience.
And ladyboy, only if they didn't look. If I couldn't see it was a bloke, then I'd do it.
But what about the penis?
Well, I fucked it, he, she,
They.
whatever in the arse. Yeah.
Them.
I don't know whether it
Them.
was them. I fucked them in the arse, right? It's the same as a woman's arse. Like.
Sure, but like you have a woman's ass and then you have a vagina. Like I personally.
But this was the idea, the fantasy of a lady boy. Obviously, I can't stick it in his jap side because it's not big enough. So therefore, the only option was his elbow, his armpit, or an ass, yeah, or his ear, or if he's got one of those big fucking tunnels, like like it's a goth. Yeah, it's an ass. It's no different to you close your eyes, you won't be like, oh, this is really tight. This is definitely a guy because he's got smaller hips. You know what I mean? It's just an ass, and then you come in and that's it. You go home. But it's more fantasy, which I've done. Now I don't know. I have no need to fuck a ladyboy anymore. But she was so beautiful, you wouldn't even know it was a guy. And I said I would only do it if I couldn't see a guy, because otherwise I feel like I'm fucking a bloke, which I don't find attractive. But it was like if I woke up in Thailand and she was in my bed, I would like bend over because I wouldn't know it was a guy.
Fascinating.
So yeah, you definitely tick off the bucket list, just like an experience, you know.
Yeah, no, that's not.
Remember, life's a holiday.
Yeah.
If I go Thailand, I want to go on the banana boat. I want to skydive. Fuck a ladyboy, you know.
Nah, fucking ladyboy's nothing that I'd find satisfying at all. Interesting though.
I don't think I'd do it again.
Yeah.
Unless she drugged me or she just stuck it in and I thought it was my girlfriend's strap on, then I can't. Too late. He's already been in and out. I turn around and like, well, fuck, where's she gone?
Oh, whoops.
She tied up to a chair, like, fuck off, get out my arse. That'll teach you.
Imagine no ladyboy anymore.
No more ladyboy, back to female. Yeah. Snip off that thing.
So what were we saying before that?
Telepathy, right? So my uncle lives in Australia. I can pretty much think of him at any point.
You told me about that.
He will literally call me. At the same I can think of my mate who lives 10 minutes away. It's the same time they respond. So that thing about time existing, it by a clock here, what man has made so he knows to get to work at this time because his boss wants him in the office. Take clock away, it's just the sun, morning, night. And the thought is the same.
Can we put a pin on the thought of time and look at that after? Because I want to like...
We should get a little whiteboard.
We should.
Triggers, tangents,
Hang
time.
on, I have a whiteboard
Lady
somewhere.
boys. Why we need to wear socks.
I left my... Oh, damn, I left my magnets and my whiteboard at my old flat. I'll go pick them up. Anyways, telepathy. We understand telepathy to be just the coincidence, the coinciding of two thoughts, two people. Actually, there's different misunderstandings about telepathy. People think it's reading minds, which people can do, and I have been in positions at times where I can read people's minds, but I'm not reading your thought. It's not like, what am I thinking right now? You're thinking of a circle, or you're thinking of like strawberries and jam.
Dan Brown says there's mentalism. There's he says like
mentalism is different.
He says it's not psychic. It's
suggestion.
Suggestion, psychology. It's all everything.
That's mentalism. So mentalism just uses the different like leverage points of the human psychological construct, the mind.
For fuck's sake.
And that.
I'm going to check it's still recording.
Yeah.
Go on, continue.
I think it's good. The mind.
Was that telepathy? Could you tune into the thing that you were still on, yeah? Yeah, it's good.
So, like, you know, people like Darren Brown, mentalism works with the human mind, like psychology. What we understand it academically is psychology, the conscious, the subconscious, the subconscious, the ego, the superego, the alter ego, and how the mind processes pieces of information. That's mentalism. Telepathy is different, and telepathy isn't thought to thought. Telepathy actually should be called telempathy, because it's not just, actually, let's say you thought of your uncle calling you, or your uncle is thinking of calling you, but that thought isn't just a pure thought. That thought is accompanied with an emotion like, I miss. Is your uncle? So you're his nephew. He would have. What's his name?
William.
William. So William would have been like,
Will.i.am.
Oh yeah.
He's not Will.i.am. That's another guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different coloured skin, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Will. I was going to say Will.i.am. William would have thought, I kind of miss Oliver. I want to see how he's doing. So that's an emotion. That's longing. That's like,
See, that's interesting.
It's care.
That's a feeling to a thought, as opposed to I must call Oliver, and when he thinks about me at that time. So that's interesting because there's like the thought activated by, for example, someone else in the room thinking about it, and you do it instead.
Yeah.
And then there's feeling. But then what is feeling if it's not a thought? It's like
they're both connected.
It's interesting.
They have a different fundamental nature, but one doesn't live without the other.
So I've not thought about it that way. Like when I think of him, it could be like, I miss my uncle.
Got an eyelash there, man. I've been watching it for ages. It's like, make a wish. Where was it gone? Actually, I just wanted to stroke your nose. There is an eyelash. Go on, make a wish.
I'm going to be the next
No,
host of
don't tell us the
sorry.
wish.
Another lady boy. So did I say that loud? So if I jinxed it? Oh, fuck's sake, man. I'm not going to fucking name lady boys. Fuck!
Go on, you got to blow it.
Hang on, no. You're going to blow it in a minute if I can't finish my thought. Go on.
Yeah.
Speaking of eyelash, you've actually got hairs growing out your nose.
Yeah, I know.
So it might not have been an eyelash. You might have just wanted to touch my nose. And you damn well, which is
Can you see I've got hairs coming out my nose? Yeah, I get that from my dad.
Caveman days.
Yeah, I get that from my dad.
Isn't it amazing, right? How we take away our monobrow because it's not sexy, like fucking Joe Essex doesn't have one. But really, it just stops the sweat from going into our pores and our face. So it cuts across. Yeah. And the nostril hair goes all the way down here. We are apes at the end of the day, which means our whole face would have been covered. But isn't it amazing how
we are apes genetically modified by outer civilizations? That's another subject.
This is another thing Joe Rogan says, right? If we
need to go back on telepathy, so just pin telepathy.
I'm not going to remember all this shit.
No, it's fine. That's why it's been recorded. But yeah, what does Joe Rogan say?
So, for example, right, people can agree that we evolved from something before human, okay? Whether we call it an ape, it was something on all fours of hairy stuff living in the jungle, right?
Yeah. The
question of why some people black, some people white, some people whatever, they've come from different parts of the world, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if Adam and Eve existed, right, it means that we would have come from one person, somewhere, and like a triangle, we came down like that, right? Which means we all connected from like one thing. Now, technically, it's not possible because you've got oceans in the way and other shit. So which I feel there was different tribes of, say, different types of apes. Let's go through the monkeys. You've got orangutans, you've got chimpanzees, you've got marmosets, you've got apes, gorillas. You've got different types of apes, right? They look different.
Marsupials.
For example, a black person will look like more of a gorilla. A Chinese person will look like more of a marmoset. A Nepalese person may look more like a chimpanzee, right? Different parts of the world, different apes, different evolution.
I never thought about it like that.
I thought about this.
And can we just put a disclaimer that this has nothing to do with racial judgment?
To do with science and
just genetic disposition.
Genetic disposition, comparing evolution.
Depending on where you come from in the world. Yes.
Comparing just patterns and sites and evolution from why is it, for example, a horse looks like a zebra, but a zebra's got stripes, but then it's another part of the planet. So this is just science, nothing to do with race, right?
So can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And I mean, this is pretty basic. So do you agree that part of the reason that these species look different and have different genetic codes, I guess.
What, the different types of apes?
Yeah. Why, for example, in this part of the world, you have these animals that look like this, and then you go to the rainforest, which is an abundance of nature. You have like what we call tropical birds, and they're like the most beautiful, colorful birds. And then you go to different parts, and then you've got less complex. Do you agree that that's a result of the impact of your environment and adaptation?
Just imagine, right, there is loads of, there's different types of grass when you go in the world.
Yeah.
You go to Spain, the grass is thicker, right? Yeah. There's different types of cows. The milk tastes different, right? Yeah. Spanish cows, Greek cows, English cows. Yeah.
Normandy cows.
There's different types of ants. Some ants are bigger in...
You've got red ants, then
you've got fucking big ants in like Africa, like big like... there's like massive ants, right? So if there's different types of cows, flies, birds, we're no different. And if everything has come from something, it's either come from one thing like Adam and Eve, they fucked and then they've created fucking everything else, or we're just like different bacteria and cells and all parts of the world, and we've just evolved, and then eventually at some point, like when we have the labradoodle, which is a poodle and a Labrador, at some point, that chimpanzee from, say, Southern Asia, which I would say, let's just say Nepal, for example.
Are you done with this? Do you want to keep it here, or should we... You finished?
I mean...
Because I'm just going to keep playing with this, because I'm a fidgety person.
Anyway, so then we have different... eventually, an ape from, say, Asia would have mated with an ape from, say, Africa. For whatever reason, they were going to the same swamp for food and drink, right? That's equivalent to a black guy having sex with an Asian person and creating a half African, half Chinese baby, right? I was out somewhere and I saw this person, okay, and it suddenly clicked, right? Why are Chinese people small? Why are black people big in size? Why are we all different, okay? If, like, we'll come from the same person like Adam and Eve, why aren't I black? Why wasn't Adam and Eve?
is a construct. Adam and Eve is although those who are strictly religious, and I intend no insult and no judgment on.
You don't have to justify this. We're just talking like.
Yeah. But still, I want to remain respectful to any listeners. Adam and Eve they weren't. I mean, I wasn't there. I can't objectively say.
I believe they
weren't
existed.
Real people. I think they exist as a symbolism for something. They're a symbol of something. They are. Plain and simple. They symbolize an idea, but I don't believe that we come from Adam and Eve to, a blonde chick and a brown-haired guy, and, they just happen to walk around with leaves covering their genitals and like, nah. I mean, it's scientifically, it makes no sense whatsoever. Absolutely none. None. There is, and, where would they come from? Who created them?
I believe that we all came from essentially, like sea monkeys back in the day, right? Remember? Those little sea monkeys? Yeah. You get a packet of whatever, you put it in water, and basically mosquitoes will start to grow, right? Like if you have a puddle and it's warm, you get mosquitoes growing, right? Just imagine that.
Well, yeah, they grow, they come from, it's more complex.
Whatever, okay, let's just say there's sea monkeys and mosquitoes. Yeah. Let's just say that is the start of life. It was water mixed with the sun, which created something. This fly turned to a little robin, to a blackbird, to a fucking owl, to a falcon, to a dinosaur, and then a dinosaur. Everything came from. I don't believe it came from just like one thing. I believe, as I said, if you look at all the apes, China, Africa, England, we are different sizes. The Chinese are small, the black are big. I looked at this person, right? She must have been like.
You do have some black people. Skinny black people was what I meant.
Yeah, so that's another thing. You've got like Nigerians, they're good at running. They're like slim and black. And then you've got
the Kenyans, and then you've got people
Jamaica,
from
they're like black, but they're stocky and muscly. Yeah. So if you compare like a gorilla, big in size, take away the fur, you could say, okay, the same size. If you look at a chimpanzee, similar, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So rather than just one ape, different tribes from different parts of the world, different apes. Over time, we all evolved, we just evolved, okay? And at some point we would have crossed over, right? But anyway, this person who I saw, she looked, no joke. If you look at chimpanzee, I think it is. No. Orangutan, that's it. If you look at an orangutan, just how it is, how it looks, like the tall head, the jaw looking back. I saw this person in a restaurant, no joke. I thought, oh my God, orangutan. Okay, I don't know whether she was Nepal, South American, I don't know. But the point was, I thought, oh my God, let's just say her 50th ancestor was in the jungle, right? Which means when we evolved out the jungle, how many generations lived on land? Let's just say hers, it was 50. But for example, like you and me, could have been like thousands of generations. Does that make sense? I thought, wow, what if there was different types of apes which evolved simultaneously around the world, and then we came together, and that's why you've got different colours and different sizes of people, and that's why if you get, say, a big black person marrying or having sex with a little Filipino, that child might have scoliosis, because essentially you're trying to fit a big skeletal posture in a little Chinese person's body. The spine's like, I've got nowhere to go, mate, and that's why everyone these days has, like, for example, issues, because everyone's breeding with like other people. No one's pure English anymore. everyone's like, all the Europeans come to European countries, everyone's going to America. Now it's not just America, it's like Mexican America, African America.
Yeah.
Different sizes from different tribes, and we're mating, but then it's not, does that make sense? We're not supposed to be mating. Like, that African body is not supposed to be mixed with that Chinese body, and yet we fall in love because, for whatever reason, that person was there. You've got this kid, now this kid's skeletal structure is trying to be in this, you know what I'm saying? It's like put an elephant in a car, in a Mini. It's not going to fit.
Yeah, interesting. I've never seen...
This is my own thought, by the way. I've never heard it said like that before.
I've never seen... that'd be interesting. Imagine seeing a kid that has like a father who's from like Ethiopia, or I'm not up to scratch with like the morphology of the African countries, and then a tiny little Asian person. That'd be interesting.
It's just genetics. If you get
talking on genetics, man, I saw again sometimes
epigenetics.
Sometimes I work in schools, and I spotted this kid. It was the end of their lunchtime, and I saw his eyes, and
different colour in it, like
not even that, man. Even
white or something.
Even different, bro.
Red.
Even different. His pupils were not round.
Wow.
His pupils were like those of a cat, and they weren't in the center.
Oh,
of
like
his
a
eye.
diamond.
Yeah.
Like a diamond.
And they weren't.
Oh.
It was more like an upside down teardrop, and they weren't centered in the iris. They were lower.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa.
As far as we're aware, we can go to another country and it's just like normal, because we're in England. Everyone's got round eyes. Like for all we know,
I've never heard of
it exists
anything
already.
like that, man. I've never heard of anything. But I have noticed there's a lot of kids nowadays.
Different colour eyes.
Different colour eyes.
Yeah, it's not just brown and blue and green. It's like hazel with like a.
Yeah. I saw this one kid that I work with.
A lot of mixed black guys I've noticed, like models.
Yeah,
they've got these like. It must be something to do with black genetics and white genetics or whatever, because you've got like this amazing. It's like a yellowy, browny, mustard eye, and it's like fucking gorgeous people. That's why they got the modelling job.
I see many of these, and there's one kid that I work with. He has like, man, you look into his eyes, it looks like a supernova. He's got like, and it's funny because it changes depending on the day and on his mood. My eyes change colour. Sometimes they're really vibrant blue, sometimes they're grey, sometimes they're blue-green. Anyways, so they're like a beautiful, deep, like universe, ocean blue with like a beautiful brown on the outside and like a slightly white on the inside. Fuck, man, kids have got. Have you heard of indigo children, rainbow children, crystal children?
Not yet, no.
Okay, I think that comes from those genetic predispositions. We'll talk about that maybe.
So the reason why the eyes are being different, and it's because we're into breeding. Like, for example, right, a sheep can't mate with a cow, right? But a horse and a donkey might be able to.
That's where you get the mule from. You know the mule? That's a horse and a donkey together.
Yeah, so is it? So it's like Labradoodle, Labrador and a poodle, right? Shih Tzu and whatever, right? It's the fucking same dog, right? You know what I'm saying? There's certain dogs that will genetically be matched. Can a Great Dane mate with a little Chihuahua? Who knows? Because what the fuck will that turn out to be like?
I think.
You know what I mean?
I think if humans were to do the cell manipulation themselves, yes, but physically, a Great Dane cannot bend down and.
No, but if a little Chihuahua hopped on the Great Dane, would it work in terms of genetic match? Like, you can't just like
would
get
it work
a cow
in terms
and a sheep.
of fitting? Would the Great Dane's penis fit?
No. Like,
you got to think about
a
these
sheep
things.
and a cow won't work, but a sheep might. And like, for example, a chimpanzee and a gorilla might be, but a chimpanzee and a orangutan might be a little bit different. Like, we can't fuck a gorilla, even though we're very similar, and get a human, like half a human gorilla. So there's some dogs that will work and some won't. Where are we going with this?
No, I think no, I don't know. I don't know if
I was just saying that everything's like interlinking, where it's at some point it shouldn't be. A big black person should not be mating with a little Chinese person, because your skeletal structure, that poor kid's going to be fucked. It's just going to have issues with its spine and back.
You reckon?
It's just science. Like, how many kids these days have scoliosis? Yeah, it's bad scoliosis. Yeah, it's bad posture. Like, that is fact. But when you get someone whose physical body
so
is
you're
this,
saying that it might lead to genetic anomalies which would create.
For example, right, a black person, we can agree, statistically, stereotypically, has a big cock compared to a Chinese person, which statistically has a small cock, right?
Yeah.
Which means that if a black person was to have sex with a little Chinese girl, her vagina, for example, is only that big. He's going to cause damage. But if you have a big black female, her hips are bigger, hence why they have a black bum. So the vagina's bigger, which means there's more room for the big black schlong. Okay? Which means that she can handle it.
Yeah.
Whereas a little Chinese person might not be able to, right? So if you look at it like that, there's genetics saying that this black man is supposed to only mate with this black female because this little Chinese person, well, it's going to come out of a throat. He's so tall, you know what I mean? So, as I'm saying, and if you have a little Chinese man having sex with a big black female, the uterus is up here in order, to fertilise the egg. His little ejaculation, it's not going to do jack shit, is it? It's not going to reach the eggs. So there's some genetics involved where we're not supposed to be doing it like that. Even though it's possible, I guess you can put the Jack Russell on the Great Dane, but it's not supposed to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
If we didn't have cars and planes, African man wouldn't be mating with Chinese man because how's he going to get across the ocean?
Brilliant. That's a thought.
It's true. What I'm saying is true.
Yeah. That'd be funny. Actually, I was gonna. Yeah, Chinese people, huh? So telepathy.
Back to telepathy.
Telepathy isn't just same wavelength of mind. It's emotional wavelength. It's tapping into. It's simple. Your heart, your mind, your brain, your heart and your brain, they emit electromagnetic frequency. I've read a book on this. I can't remember. Heart's Code. Can't remember the name of the guy, but written by an immunocardiologist.
A gut's another brain.
Huh?
A gut is another brain.
It's another different form of brain which has a different function, and same with your heart.
That's why it's gut feeling.
Yeah,
trust your gut, not your brain.
They have receptors and emitters of energy of electromagnetic frequencies, and this reflects a lot of like Chinese medicine and like meridians and central point like energy points, etc.
Is it porn?
Point. Central porn.
Like a bit of porn.
Yeah, I do.
Stepdaughter, father porn.
No, that's not my thing. Lady boy?
No, that was 3 years ago.
Yeah, you've done it.
Fuck them now.
So, what were we saying? So your heart, when you have an emotion, your heart gives out that frequency, and it's the same when you have a thought, it gives it out. And essentially when and that reflects on quantum entanglement, actually. We'll talk about that maybe after this. When you give out a frequency, I might be picking it up. That's what telepathy is. I'm just picking up your frequency. I'm picking up like the reverberations. Just
walkie-talkie, channel 5, walkie-talkie, channel 5.
That's it. I'm just picking it up. And
Roger, do you see me? Over.
Do you copy? Over. And that's all telepathy is, and it's and that's how animals communicate. They communicate, and also telepathy isn't just
how birds migrate to Europe when Britain gets cold. They just start flying.
They have a thing in their brain which is like a magnetic sensor in their brain, which.
Would you say that's instinct? Is that what instinct is that you would say? If instinct is trusting a feeling, does it matter whether that feeling comes from the head or from the gut?
Instinct is the word we use to describe what happens when this sensor in their brain...
The third eye, the pineal gland?
Pineal gland is different, has a different function, although it is very sensitive to magnetic frequency.
Would you say all these things make up one direction? Like, it all makes up, like, okay, make a decision where to go based on all of these sensors?
So, it depends on who you are, where you're trying to go, and why you're trying to go there.
Is the bird trying to fly to a hot place?
Okay, so bird trying to fly to another place, they want to go to the warmer places, they want to survive, and they use the Earth's natural magnetic pole, which is perceived and sensed by this magnetic sensor they have in their brain. It's the same with whales. It's the same with most animals, turtles, sea animals.
So they evolve based on something in the brain as opposed to a gut feeling.
It's not a gut feeling. They don't have gut feelings about these things. Actually, animals.
So it's a conscious decision then, even though you don't think consciousness is in the brain.
No, for them, for the birds.
Any animal, because I presume it's all the same. It's a bird or a lion or a zebra.
No, different depending on how far you are and how close genetically you are to the original. Like how evolved you are. For example, a fish will have almost none, very little to almost no emotional quality, like the ability to feel emotion. Although they have fear, fear is what keeps them alive.
Fuck a shark!
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Right, mate.
Like we need to
I
go.
eat ya. Stay there.
But they have, they have very basic emotions, and then, because they're quite close to the genetic ancestors when you go way back to dinosaurs.
So based on how many generations there are before?
Based on how evolved you are as a species.
On this same topic about how many generations before, this is why a lot of people have allergies, because some people have been eating, for example, certain cheeses, certain milk, certain nuts for many generations before, because they came, for example, from the orangutan forest and they just had nuts. Whereas a gorilla, Africa, black person, might have come from over there and they had bananas. So now these people they can eat lots of fruit. Whereas some kids didn't have the orangutan tribe, which they can't eat nuts.
Yeah.
So there's reasons why people can eat some things and some people can't. It's also like their biology based on, there's many factors, like the vibration you're in. And
there is, or like allergies is also, because my mum's a hypnotherapist, and one of the things that can be cured or treated with hypnotherapy is allergy, which is fascinating.
Absolutely,
We thought allergy was like, you're born allergic to this.
You're nothing born with anything. That's what epigenetics is, where genes are controlled and manipulated by thought and environment. There's no such thing as hereditary, stroke, cancer, heart disease. My granddad had heart disease, diabetes. If you're expecting,
it's the thought of your granddad, the fact that you think my granddad had heart disease, so therefore.
So now you're expecting to get that diagnosis because your granddad had it, because you're top of the doctor.
It. You've programmed,
he had it,
you've programmed
and so you put yourself in that. It's like people. That's why I don't celebrate birthdays, because if you're expecting to die at 70, because all your other friends are dying at 70, well, they can fucking die at 70. I'm not, okay, because. It doesn't exist. You just evolve, and then the plant dies, and there's no sun, no nutrients, no food and water. So I would die when I want to die. If you're expecting to die at a certain age, or you should be slowing down at 70, not driving at 90. Prince Philip, he's fucking 99. He just gave up his driving license or something like that. If you're expecting to puke up when you have a kebab, you're going to puke up. If you're expecting to,
you're just programming your. You're programming your body. You're telling your cells, again, everything is water. Water stores memory.
Absolutely.
It really does.
Yeah. I pray to God that thing doesn't fall down, because that took a nightmare to get up. Don't tempt luck. Back up straight. Get that chakra back.
That's it. Yeah. Get my spine aligned. Get my chakras aligned, and tap it. No. So what were we saying about?
So if you're
allergy, and essentially, like, when I was a kid, I was told that I was allergic to dust, because I had a reaction to dust, and then like
ever since it's just been like, I'm allergic to dust. And really, it's just because your granddad blew the bookshelf, and any human is going to be like, oh my god, take cover, and you're going to sneeze. But at that point, son's got an allergy, and he can't. It's just fucking. It's just a fucking stupid everything.
It is a complex subconscious,
and also
construct.
Making your child vegan at such a young age isn't helping. If you are only giving him fucking leaves and stuff, and you're not giving him everything else, he's not going to have an immune built up to eat chicken and peanuts. Of course he's going to have an allergy to nuts.
Yeah, the thing is, if you actually, I know a guy
giving the dog fucking vegan food as well. And also, the reason why people wear glasses, at such a young age, this pisses me off, is because the fucking mother sees an advert for Specsavers, thinks, I'll get my son checked out for his eyes. Well, if your fucking child's on his laptop all day, or on his iPad, watching fucking Peppa Pig, right? Like that, of course he's going to go blind. And now you put this bit of glass in his eye, his eye's going to weaken, because they're not going to... and it's going to be blind for his whole life. And the fact is, this stuff also is blind. That's not a coincidence. She's got a fucking iPad as well.
I've got a story to tell you
pisses me
about
off.
that. When I was a kid, I got my eyes tested, and I needed to wear glasses, and I was so shy and embarrassed to wear glasses that I never put them on in school.
And then your eyes just became perfect.
And literally.
And
now I've got
a fucking business.
Now I've got 20/20 vision.
I got 20/20 vision.
Yeah.
Had an eye test the other day. Every single one of those charts.
Yep.
I miss my left eye. I got a D as opposed to an O. Apart from that, everything was spot on.
Yeah.
It's 20/20 vision. I said, is that 20/20 vision? He goes, if you're American, yes. But in England, it's 5/4, 5/5 or something.
Yeah. And did you know that depending on actually your vision, this is quite interesting. This is back to the.
And if you're tired or there's no sunlight, that will affect that board, which affects whether you get glasses or not.
Why,
and everything just came from
actually
nothing.
I read this. When did I read this? A while ago. You right?
Just checking if your mic was still there.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't sit.
I read a while ago that squinting in the sun is actually not doing you any good. You think that squinting in the sun...
I'm against sunglasses in the sun. As soon as people see a bit of sun, they put their glasses on. They're fucking stupid.
No.
You need that sun to go in your eye.
Yeah, you need the different...
Don't look at it, but just keep your eyes open.
You need the UVs,
Jesus.
the good UVs. And so the reason why you shouldn't squint you should do what the fuck you want, you know.
If you want to be trans, be trans. If you want to call yourself they, be they. If you want to call yourself it,
be it.
be it.
But you should, I mean, it's unnecessary to wear shades.
Absolutely.
Because our eye is equipped with the right muscles to contract and dilate your pupil to let in the right amount of
The
sun.
sun's been around for billions of years, so have we. So why do we need fucking glasses in the 21st century? You know, like, do you think humans haven't evolved? Like sun cream. You don't need sun cream. Just don't spend fucking 13 hours in the sun. Because animals are going to a tree at the hottest part of the day. So why are you on the beach at that time?
I read something, this was interesting, and this is like a throw in the dark. This is a bit of like a... Anyways, the article was like 5 reasons as to why, five reasons that prove why humans aren't from this earth. We are the only species who have a bad reaction to sun. We are the only species who need to be completely mothered and nurtured when we're born to be able to survive.
AKA dependent on capitalism.
And McDonald's. And yeah, many things like that. Like when we're born, I mean, there's different things.
People in the jungle, they don't have glasses. They can see danger from ahead, and they can light that little fire this close. They don't need glasses. Like, how do you think they survive? They don't have sun cream. Like,
actually, this your vision, just like everything else in your body, reflects on your mindset, and this is very interesting. And I found this to be correlatively true. Let's say, for example, you only see up close, but you can't see far. That's been said to symbolize the pure fact that you cannot project yourself in the future. You can't imagine or plan, whether it's your career, whether it's your finances, whether it's your love life. You cannot plan. You can only see up close, so you can only see what's happening now, and you can only live in the now, which is good at times. But you can't. Let's say you want to have a long-lasting career. You can't do that.
So you're saying people who can only see
and vice
up
versa.
Close, they can't see like what they're going to be in 10 years?
Yeah.
Is that science? Because
it's actually, and this is another book I read, I can't remember the name of the guy, this is...
I can understand how it's connected to the brain.
What's the word for when you think of something, essentially you create your illness, psychosomatic. Have you heard that term? Psychosomatic.
No, but I get it, yeah.
Psychosomatic. For example, all these people that complain they end up getting cancer or they
stroke,
end up...
heart disease at 50 because they're fucking granddad. Oh, I'm 49, I've got 1 year left.
Yeah.
Well, you do have 1 year left. You're fucking waiting to die.
And, damn, I had his name in my head now, his author, Max. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Max Brannon.
He's big on TED Talks. Anyways, so yeah, everything is psychosomatic. You know, if you start talking about
everything.
And so if you can see far but not up close, it means you're great at projecting your life in the future. You're essentially living in the future, but you have no fucking idea of what's going on around you now. And for example, my mum, bless her, I love her so much. She cannot see up close or far, which means that
she's always in her head and she's not present.
Yeah, she's always ahead. And
family reunion, she's thinking about next week.
Yeah, that's it.
I can understand that because it's all connected to the brain. Like, you know, telekinesis.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Yeah, I used to do it. So basically, I used to be able to. I could turn my Mac on when I wanted to. So I used to be. I used to believe I was speaking to ghosts, right? And I realised that there was no ghost. It was just my own consciousness creating enough magnetic energy in my room, and something with a magnetic charge or something was responding. So I had an iMac, right? Obviously, it's got like a little battery inside, and it's got its main power. My Mac was over there. I used to be in bed, and I wanted to believe my grandma was in the room. She was looking down on me, right, when she died. She wasn't there. She was never there. But the point was, I believed she was there at that time, and I used to communicate by doing this. I used to keep very still, and I used to focus on, like, say, where I would want her to be or where I think she might be. Now, it was the Mac. When she turned the Mac on, that was when she was here. Just like if you heard a knock, it was over there. So let's just say that for whatever reason, the Mac turned on once upon a time, and I thought, okay, she communicates via the Mac by turning on. So I'd sit in my room, and I'd be like this, in a meditative state. My energy would like still, and it would go out, and all of a sudden, the Mac would come on, and I'd hold
But were you thinking in your mind, Mac, turn on, or were you thinking, I believe my grandmother's here and she's going to give me a sign?
So basically, it was like, Grandma, if you're here, please turn on the Mac, which is symbolates to the vibration of the charge, the sound into the Mac, because that's how she's doing it. So therefore, all of a sudden, it'd be like, Grandma.
How long were you thinking about this? How long did you hold that thought?
So I'd realised I'd had to hold a thought for up to 2 minutes, I'd say, which is basically, if I look back, it was deep meditation for 2 minutes to get that
focused attention.
Yeah, okay. And then eventually after 2 minutes, I'd be so still I could hear any noise, anything. I hear a pin dropped, because it's all about if she was knocking, could I hear it? Well, I'd have to be really still, and all of a sudden the Mac would come on, and if I wanted the Mac to stay on for say 20 seconds, I'd have to really focus on if I observed me observing the Mac, it would cut the charge, yeah? So imagine that it comes on by a particle, but when I observe it becomes a wave, and it needs that particle charge, and if it's a wave, then it's a different type of currency, right? If I observed myself observing the Mac, okay, it would cut off. But if I just hold that thought...
If you just focus just on the thought of...
Yeah, it would stay on and cut out when I wanted it to. It's the same for lucid dreaming. When you become aware you're dreaming, what happens? Most of the time you wake. Yeah, most people, they wake up and they become aware they're dreaming. Yeah. Right? So it's about you understanding that, are you dreaming but not getting excited because you wake yourself up? Yeah. Same as quantum, the double slit experiment. Yeah. When it knows you're observing it, it now reacts differently. That Mac will turn off if it knows I'm observing it. But Grandma would know that I am aware she's in the room, and ghosts don't want to be seen. Like, for example, when you are most haunted, right? If you notice that when they're speaking to the ghost, he doesn't do anything. But when they start speaking to the camera crew, then it throws the marbles, then it starts to knock. Did you hear that? No. So it fucking does something when we're speaking. You know what I mean? It's always
Does that show still exist?
I don't know, but he died. Derek Acora died quite recently.
Derek Acora? Yeah. You know, I saw him in Liverpool.
Yeah.
He was having his dinner and I walked past him.
Yeah, anyway, he died literally the other day. But it seems, this is based on telekinesis, right? I got an orange and a toothpick and a bit of foil or a note. If I just focused on it and didn't become aware of what I was doing, I didn't try and control the left or right, it would just flow. But when it started to flow and I became aware that I was doing it, or I wanted to make it go left or right, it would reverse. And they say...
So hang on, so you were just focusing on it, not thinking go left, go right, turn around, collar climb.
Just like when I focus on the Mac, it would just be on until I just chose to let it go. But when I was aware that I was focusing on the Mac, which is observing the particle to wave, then the foil stopped. So when I observed it, basically, if I'm just looking at it, it goes like that. If I observe it...
But were you just because I'm curious, I want to try this now.
It's just the glare,
You were just looking at it, just focusing on it, like you would look at a candle.
Yeah, and eventually, like the Mac, the energy builds up and projects through your eyes, and the tin foil, we can do it downstairs later, it just starts to move. But if you just let the energy flow, it's already doing the job. It's like, does that make sense?
That reflects so much.
It's like when they say when you're looking for love.
I'm getting chills, man.
When you're looking for love, they say, don't look for love, it will happen. Because if you're looking for it, you're observing it, you change the frequency to away from a particle. That girl the energy's not in particle form. You can attract your love on the particle. If you're obsessed and waiting for this love, looking for it, you're observing it, it's now a wave. Yeah, it's powerful, man. Because it's all the same.
Don't you think that reflects on this whole law of attraction manifestation concept? Well, it's not even a concept, it's the
just
law.
Know it's going to happen. Just know it's happened. Just
know,
look at that foil. Yeah.
And the moment you have expectations, and actually I've been busking recently, and I've found that my mindset completely changes the result and the concept, the result of how much, I guess, money I make. When I went in with the mindset of I need to make money, oh no, there's not enough people watching, or oh, am I in a busy place?
Essentially, everyone's now a wave connection, and they can't flow. They can only flow through particle.
I'd make £5. My first ever session, I had no expectations. I didn't know what to expect. I made £50 in an hour, and then I went busking yesterday, and I started getting caught in the mental trap of oh, there's not enough flow of people. No.
That bastard put 2p in there. Was it worth coming over to me? Take it back. Fuck off.
And then I was like, actually, don't even think about the money. Just enjoy it. Play for yourself. Enjoy entertaining the people. And then at the end of the session, this chick just gave me
£30.
She gave me
$30.
Yeah, $40. Yeah.
Like energy vibration.
And as soon as you just let go of any outcome, let go of, have no expectation, and this is a massive spiritual teaching in Buddhism.
And that's how we met. You know, that's how we met.
Yeah.
I just knew I'd meet this person. Didn't know if he's going to be black, white,
I had no idea I was going to meet
hairy
him.
nose. Yeah. I didn't know. I just knew that if I get on the train to London, I'll find this person.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there you were.
Yeah. And so, you know, some of the best things that have happened in my life have happened through letting go of the outcome. And actually, again, I'm going to quote something by Eric Home, Master Sri Akashana. There's a saying called "set it and forget it." It's a book he's written.
Person who created Bitcoin.
Nah. Set it and forget it. So set your intention.
Absolutely.
The only way you can use the law of manifestation is, there's different processes, different ways of going about it. But set your intention. Imagine it. Imagine having the result. Hold that thought in your mind. Hold that feeling. Feel what it feels like to have that result, and then hold it. Some people say you should hold it for about 17 seconds, at least minimum.
Actually, speaking of 17 seconds, if I was to go back and time how long it took for the Mac to turn on, it may or may not be around that mark based on the science behind how long it takes to build up a charge. But it's the exact same thing, isn't it? Like the foil thing. If I'm just looking at it, it's spinning. The job's done. If you want something to happen, it's already happened. Like record label, Meet This Love, it's already happened. You just have to flow like that.
By the way, record label, I'm a musician.
You just have to flow like that foil. But the minute you observe that foil, thinking it's not going to do what it's supposed to do, I'm not going to find this love, I'm not going to get my record deal. You change it and you fuck it all up, and then it goes the other way.
And
like the tin foil goes the other way when I observe it. When I don't observe it, it flows where I need it to go, and that's it.
You got to set it and forget it, and trust.
You've
got it exactly. Let it go and trust that. Okay, you want to call it universe, you want to call it God, you want to call it physics, whatever.
Process.
You've got to trust that the process. I mean, okay, think about the most exciting thing, the biggest event in your life so far that's happened, which you're probably not even aware of. The fact that you were born. Were you conscious about that? Did you choose? Did you ever think, all right, okay, I'm going to go into mummy's belly now. Now I'm an embryo. Now I've got one thing.
Daddy, fuck mummy now because I want to be an Aquarius and come out in January.
Right? That's it. Like, although I personally believe that our soul does have control over that, but that's not the conscious human construct we're talking about now. But, you know, your life and your death, you have no control over. The most beautiful events in your life and your death. So if that is in the hands of a higher power,
keep talking,
then you have every reason to trust. You have every reason to trust in whatever it is you want to manifest. So, and
Grandma, hang on, be quiet, she's here. Hold that thought for 17 seconds. Why did she fucking knock when I ask her to knock? It's always when you're focusing, they don't knock. Anyway, carry on. She fucking knocked when I was looking at you, but when I wanted to knock, she doesn't bloody knock. Carry on.
Brilliant. So, what were we saying? You were saying about, so when you're looking at the tin foil, and, you know, when you start thinking about, oh, it better move, why isn't it moving? Actually, what's happening is,
literally, when I suddenly think, why is it not moving, it goes left. And then when I just stop that thought, it just continues. And it's like a battle between, it literally, I'm not even kidding, it was going backwards and forwards. Wow. And then when I just looked at it, it just flowed. But there's this guy on YouTube, right? He does it with rocks. He, no joke, has all these types of rocks and objects. He sits there for an hour. An hour, the rock falls off. Now, this isn't a scam. I've done my research on this guy. This is true telekinesis. He has rocks and like stuff, big heavy rocks, and he waits there and he gets in that mindset, and an hour later that rock just goes. Now, if you understand how massive planets can move from energy, well, that rock's a piece of piss. Like, it's just it's a joke. So, but when you see it and you don't understand it, you think, fucking hell, that's Matilda. But that is what Matilda's based on, the mind. Yeah,
that's what all magic.
Making the blind go up, Matt go on. But I'll show the rock. Honestly, like, rock falls off, light bulb break, the car move. He has like a little car thing, and it the rock falls off. The light bulb flicker. You can hold the charge. Darren Brown did a show, and he made the light bulb flicker. He got the other guy to have it. So now there's two energies as opposed to him. They brought their own light bulbs in the audience, and it was in a bag, so no one could touch it. He gave it to the guy, and he says, when you just believe that everything's fine, it's going to flow through, and the light bulb comes on, it will. The light bulb lights up, and by Darren's energy focusing on it too, bulb smashes. It's in the bag, so it's like safe. Point is that magicians know this. You know, the floating light bulb. I don't think that was necessarily.
So
you know what I mean?
Darren Brown isn't a magician. He's well, I don't know what he is, but magicians are just.
He started off in magic.
Yeah, magic is just illusion. It's just like, you know, perspective, or like using like hidden corners and angles of where you're looking at and all that stuff. Darren Brown is a bit deeper than that. Darren Brown really uses the power of the mind and,
I saw him
and
once.
the weakness of the mind of others. Yeah, I've never seen him live.
Incredible.
Yeah, I'm sure he is, man. I saw him when I was a kid. I was watching all his videos, and then I stopped watching him, and I found out recently he's got no hair. He lost all his hair. He's bald now. I didn't know.
Isn't that by choice?
No. Oh, is it by choice?
I don't know. I'm sure he shaves it.
Oh, I didn't know.
Like, he's got a bald patch, but I'm pretty sure he shaves it. I don't think
Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, and to reflect on the point that you said, like, so when you're meditating, or when your mind is just focused,
yeah, if you
and
just
it's empty, I guess, you're in that Zen mode, and whatever outcome you want, you're getting it. The moment you start thinking, oh, what if, or I want it to, no, I want it to do that, you're actually breaking that thought pattern, and the thought that actually and this goes with anything you want to manifest. Let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to manifest money, and then you think, God, please, I want money. Please give me money. Or
goes out as a particle. You're focusing on that, and it's now a wave, and it can't come back as a wave. It can only come back as a particle.
Yeah. So, well, actually, the vibration you're giving out, the message you're giving out to the law, the law of physics, whatever manifests, which some call God, universe.
Allah Akbar.
I don't know what Akbar mean.
Basically, that means God is great. So I presume Allah is God, is great is Akbar in Arabic.
Akbar,
Allah Akbar or something. Ali Akbar.
Yeah, I don't know what it means.
Or Allah Akbar, are you at tonight? He's going to the bar. Allah Akbar, are you at tonight? I'm going to Revolution.
Revs, man, he's revenue. So anyway, so like when let's say if you want to manifest something and you're telling the universe, I want this, but what are you actually affirming? What are you concluding to yourself and to the universe? If you want something, that means that thing which you want, you don't have. So you're actually
correct.
You're actually in a place of
you're in
lack.
Doubt.
You're in a place of doubt, and you're in a place of lack. So if you want to manifest something using the power of the mind, let's say I'm looking for a record deal, or I'm looking for a sellout tour, or the production of an album, or whatever. Instead of being like, please give me this, or I want this is what I want. No, I've got
you greedy cunt, you got enough.
I've got to say,
I want
more. No, you've got to say thank you for that. You've got to talk and act and feel as if you already have it, and then you're sending out that vibration. And that's the tough bit, because we're not taught as kids, we're not conditioned to manipulate our emotions in a way that, to create something which we don't have yet. But that's the key to manipulate. That's the key to manifestation, is creating that feeling, the energy center, that energy emotion, that emotion of, you've got to fake it, you've got to really feel it. And I've used that, man, and this fucking flat, this room, man, I manifested it. I imagined it, I felt it. Top floor, man,
3 windows
loft,
either side.
fucking 3 windows, massive space, like Wimbledon, really nice roommates, good price. I manifested many things through imagining.
Andy Murray is your neighbour.
Yeah, I'm gonna be one of the umpires for Wimbledon tournament 2020.
Really? No. Oh,
Imagine me.
But no. You put a cigarette on the side, right? Yeah. The smoke goes up.
Yeah.
But the minute you blow it or move it or do something that wasn't there before, now the smoke just changes.
Dissipates.
So that's when you think about the thing that you want, rather than just trusting it will happen. Mm. It's like moving the smoke. Just let that cigarette burn. Let your belief that it's going to happen, mm-hmm. and just let it go off. Mm-hmm. Like you can't observe it after you let it out, because that's like, it's like trusting that the smoke's not going to rise. Hot air rises. Mm-hmm. That smoke will rise. It won't go there. You don't need to blow it to go over there, because you just trust it will go up.
Well, that's the thing. If you blow it to go over there, it's not going to go where it needs to go.
Naturally. Yeah, just trust that wherever it needs to go to bring you what you want.
Yeah.
If you need to move to Leicester because your psycho production label man's in Leicester, go to Leicester, but don't be like, oh, I'm moving in London, because you might have to go to Leicester.
Right, you said. Yeah. So, the power of the mind, man, the mind is so powerful.
Have you ever done that, where you give up will? So you don't do anything unless somebody says, let's do it. So, for example, You're doing nothing, and you only do something when your friend calls you to do something, or your mum says do something. So you're acting upon them as opposed to you. You never done that?
No.
So rather than you thinking, I need to go to the shops, I need to do
Rather
this,
than acting out through your own
you
ego.
do nothing for 3 days, for example, and only do something when your friends are like, let's do something. And you just go with the flow, so you give up all will, basically. I did this.
You surrender.
Yeah, you surrender. I did this, right? And it was incredible because it was just amazing. Like the conversation, because they were leading as opposed to me leading, because normally I'm calling, let's do something. But instead they were calling, they're supposed to be leading, but I was only acting upon when they said something. So they're like waiting for me to suggest something, but because they called me, you have to lead. I can't do anything because I'm in that surrendering state. So they say, let's go something. Okay. Let's go to ice rink. No problem. And then he's lost. He's not taking me to the ice rink because he's not used to leading. And so he's like, actually, let's get McDonald's. Okay. So it's like weird. It's like surrendering of just going with the flow.
The true flow of...
And I couldn't even explain. It was just like, they couldn't explain what was wrong, the dynamics, because I was aware of what I was doing. You don't take control and ask, you just surrender and accept. Definitely do it.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Maybe I'll pick like a weekend. I'll pick
a weekend where I'll just decide to, I don't know, that's interesting.
You essentially go places where you wouldn't have normally gone, because you would choose not to go there because why would I need to go to that person's house? I don't know him. But if you surrender, the universe has to line something up there, because you're going with the energy. You've attracted that person attracted that person. If you just flow, he takes you to the record label's house. The son of the record label. Amazing shit like that. Not exactly that, but if you just surrender and trust energy is everything is energy, it will just like the cigarette smoke will just flow. Definitely try it. That's an interesting one.
I will.
Surrendering your will.
Fascinating. Surrendering your ego, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? That's fascinating. How long have we been going, by the way?
Almost 2 hours.
Wow.
It's great. It's exactly what I vision, man. No expectations, as we said.
No.
Just flow.
Just flow.
I mean, I didn't know we were speaking about fucking ladyboys. I couldn't have put that on the chart. Didn't know we were speaking about... I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. Everything is linked. Fucking my orangutan theory. I didn't know we were speaking about that. It's just, that's what energy is. It just flows and it just...
That's fascinating.
It all comes into one.
We put a pin on the thought, and I can't remember what... Oh, it'll come back when we...
So there was telepathy, there was telekinesis, there was the...
telekinesis. Oh yeah, so there's this chick, she's on YouTube, you can find her. I mean, I don't know if she has a channel, but there's a video of her.
What, a chicken or a turkey chick?
I keep calling girls chicks.
Did she hatch from an egg?
She's out the egg now, yeah.
You know, birds have a little tooth on their nose. It's an actual tooth. It's like
to break through the egg.
It's like a bone or something, right?
To break through
and
the egg.
It removes when they grow up. But imagine they're in their little egg.
Yeah.
Okay, I always wondered. I thought, does the chick get too big for the egg? It's like, I'm squashed. I thought, does it break out because of its size? No. That's a fucking thing. It does that, like a woodpecker.
He wakes up. It's like it's the same with the baby. Does the baby get too big for the uterus? No, it's like
right. Let me out.
It's just natural, isn't it? These beautiful things, which is so well.
I want to go and Google it. It's got a little tooth.
I want to see that.
My sister's boyfriend told me that because he has chickens. I couldn't believe it.
So this woman, you can find her on YouTube. I don't know her name and I don't know what video, but hang on, I'm going to type in.
When Joe Rogan does his podcast, right, they can be like 3 hours long, and they look at the clock and they're like, fucking hell, man.
Chick's tooth on beak. Man, we're going from one thing to another.
When I go to a bar, I'm going to say, can I just look at your nose? I'm going to get a magnifying glass and put it against their nose and be like, she goes, what the fuck are you doing? I'm just looking at your tooth. My tooth's in my mouth. No, it's not. I'm looking at...
So I was saying this woman, she's, man, this is not going to work. She sits in the middle of a room and she's got like bowls of water just around her. And she's got like, I don't know what they're called, the things you have on your head to measure your brain.
Electro something.
Yeah, to measure your brain activity. She can move the water just by thought.
Same thing as the foil, the rock. It's just telekinesis, but really it's just building up energy through...
All it is just interacting with the electromagnetic field of whatever it is you're focusing on. I want to see this thing. So YouTube.
So many things we discussed. Like 30 different things, which
and
most
it's
people...
all related to the power of the mind.
Yeah, which most people may have thought about once, They certainly have never probably had a conversation about one thing at one time, let alone 30 things at one time. Anyone who has, I challenge you. I'm pretty confident no one has.
Artist uses brainwaves to manipulate water.
I've learnt all my shit on YouTube.
Same.
Everything I've ever learnt, YouTube. Most people go to school and learn it. Look on YouTube.
Do you know what I was thinking recently? All school does is simulate the reality of life to teach kids about life. So essentially,
That they've learnt from a book, or from someone's experience.
Yeah. So you're trying to.
That guy on YouTube's
okay,
insane.
like again, you know, a lot of people think I want to learn business. I'm going to go to business school.
40 grand a year from some professor.
Be taught by a professor who knows about business, but
who learnt from a book from uni. From uni.
They're being taught business from a guy who talks about business who's never had a business.
Yes.
So
he went to uni, he learnt from a book, and who wrote that book? Some professor
who went to uni.
Who learnt from a uni, yeah. And it's like fucking chicken or the egg. No one knows fucking anything, and I'm in 40 grand debt. It's like, I can learn this online.
Yeah. And
it's so fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, it's like school. I have a problem with the educational system, like the school system. It fucks kids up.
I would change it, but you're fighting against. You can't change it.
You can. We will. And I think it's Finland. They've changed it, and it's now they're seeing the most successful results. They have the highest academic success.
You can change it, but you got to put a lot of effort into it.
It would change. It would take a paradigm change for the whole world. That's the thing.
A scrap RM.
Because the point of education was put in place to create workers for the industrial age. That's all.
But you know, if everyone knew the stuff that we knew, there would be no big businesses. Because everyone would know the same thing, which is why they can't then suddenly teach law of attraction. Because
and don't you find it funny that all the most
Virgin won't have any employees because everyone will have their own.
Don't you find it? Well, talking about Virgin, man, don't you find it interesting that all the most successful people are dyslexic or have no A levels, have no degree, quit school at a young age, like all that. Look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk was the Tesla guy.
That was the guy, yeah.
Oh, we need to talk about Tesla as well. Actually, I told you about energy. Anyways, Elon Musk again, Master Sri Krishna. He wasn't a school guy. Richard Branson. He was dyslexic. He hated school. And
basically, I put out a tweet on Twitter. Leaders create followers. Followers wait.
Leaders create leaders. A true leader creates a leader.
I agree.
In the ideal world.
But I'm saying leaders create followers wait, meaning followers wait until they are told to do something.
Yeah, I misunderstood you. I thought you said leaders create followers.
No, leaders create followers wait. Leaders just fucking, they've already created it whilst you're fucking waiting for the moon to come out.
Yeah.
And that's what I call employee mindset.
Moon is something we could talk about on a different day. That's another thing.
This is the thing. I don't think the moon really does jack shit.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because obviously the sun, you can see the moon because the sun is on it, right? But apart from that, if there was no sun, that's just a floating bit of rock, which is just like...
Do you realise that the moon moves our oceans, which creates the tides, and thanks to the tides, the world works as it does?
So I believe that the tide is based on gravitational pull, which is the sun.
No, gravitational pull of the moon. That's like... That's
so let's say you got the sun, moon, Earth, Jupiter, Uranus, a few stars, right?
Why are you talking about my ass?
Perky, like, just gravitational pull.
Yes.
I just don't see how, like, for example, if you're saying the moon has a connection to the ocean's pull, well, why not Mars? I can see Mars as well. Why not
because
Pluto?
Mars is so much further away. You can see Mars as a tiny dot.
So you're saying the moon is the closest planet to Earth?
It's not a planet, it's a moon. It's the closest body, it's the closest mass. I mean...
when you say moon, what do you mean by that then?
The moon we see in the sky.
But the sun, big explosion, it solidifies, slows down warmth, whatever, starts to spin, Earth, Jupiter, whatever, moon. The moon is basically just an older version of Earth in billions of years to come.
So how does
that have any difference to the Mars? Even though it's further away, in terms of space, it's just over there.
It's in terms of space,
sense?
But Mars... So the moon is directly in the Earth's gravitational field. For now,
it's in the Earth's gravitational pull.
Yes,
but now the planets are.
No.
Now I can understand that.
That's why.
Okay, talk.
That's why the moon goes around our moon, the Earth's moon, and apparently we have more that we're not really aware of. I mean, scientists know about it, but they don't tell us about it.
So the Earth spins, but also the moon goes round.
The moon goes around the Earth.
But the Earth spins and the sun stays
Earth
the same.
spins on its axis. That's what gives us the days.
Okay, I didn't know
24
that
hours.
the moon went with it.
You didn't know that?
I thought when the
Did
Earth.
you go to school?
Yeah, in Jamaica, but there was no. It was just trees. There wasn't much. Taught me how to climb a tree, and that was it. Just,
That's it. That's it.
The Earth spins, but I thought depending on whether it's 6 o'clock or 12 o'clock, that the moon is there. When the Earth is spinning, it looks like the moon's getting that way because the Earth is spinning.
Yeah.
But then, having said that,
No.
and the reason why you see like the different like banana shaped moon is because the sun and the Earth is different. To be honest, I was a shit. I fucked school. I didn't learn.
I
didn't learn anything. I was trying to work out why the moon was there, as opposed to just listening to the teacher saying why the moon was there. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I didn't learn anything at school. Like the worst person. Yeah. So no, I don't actually know this unless I had it. Unless I wanted to learn it.
All right. So you're not fully educated on the function of the moon right now.
No, and if I did, it's because I learned on YouTube a few years ago. But it's because it didn't really interest me. I didn't really.
Some people have different views on the moon, but so the moon.
I didn't know the moon's bomb.
Yeah, the moon. The moon doesn't spin on its own axis. We've always got. That's why they call it the dark side of the moon. Let's say this is the Earth and this is the moon. The moon is always facing. We always see the same side of the moon like that. But the moon goes round the Earth, and what gives our tides is the gravitational pull of the moon on the water, which is why. What is our body? 70 to 90% water. Which is why we are affected by the moon and other planets.
The Earth spins
on its axis, which gives us the days.
The moon does that.
Goes around the
Does
Earth.
the Earth do that?
No.
So it doesn't. It just simply stays in the same spot and spins.
The Earth doesn't fluctuate up and down.
It stays in the same spot.
Well, it goes around the sun. That's what gives us the years.
The Earth goes around the sun.
Yes.
I thought that the Earth just simply spins, and the Earth spins.
How did you get to college?
Yeah, but it's a sport degree.
All right.
Kicking a football, there's no relevance to the sun. Okay, I thought the sun stays there, right? The Earth spins, and the moon's just over there, and Mars is here. That's it.
You should educate yourself on that, man, because it would give you a lot of clarity on many things.
The Earth spins, the moon goes around the Earth, and the Earth doesn't go up and down like I thought it did.
No, absolutely not.
You see different parts of the moon because
you
the
don't
moon
see
is
different
there.
parts of the moon. You always see the same side of the moon. The reason we see the moon as a different shapes depending on the
like a whole, as opposed to a half.
Full moon, a half moon, a gibbous.
It's because the Earth is in the middle of the sun reflecting on it.
So the Earth is in the light path, which means sometimes you won't see the moon. Sometimes you'll see only the outer edge. You'll have a crescent. You'll have a gibbous. So that's why.
This is the thing. We're being taught such nonsense at school. Who gives a fuck about the moon? Just talk to us about law of attraction.
They did teach us that in school.
No, but I'm just saying.
What I think
they
they
should be speaking
should
about more
have,
important stuff like law of attraction. Supposed
do you
to
know
be
what?
like the moon.
Do you know what I don't think should be taught in school is religious education. I think that is.
Yeah, you can't just teach one person one thing. That's why there's wars, because you're trying to teach somebody that this is it and that's it, and he's like, well, no. What about this person over here?
I don't think they should be teaching about things which have caused havoc in our civilization. Which is, religion has been the root of so many wars, so many deaths, rape, homophobia, all of this, man. What I think we should be taught in school is understanding law, finance, taxation,
Business.
Business.
That's the thing. Not enough people are qualified in energy and law of attraction because there's no you can't go to school and learn law of attraction because it's like
we should have
doesn't exist.
We should have a syllabus called spiritual studies, and practice, not just studying but practice, and that would look at understanding the human energetic system, understanding the heart and its function not just as a pump of blood. Did you know that the heart holds memory?
I did not, but I will say is that if memory is energy, then different parts of the organs will store different energy vibrations. But in terms of like I need to go and make dinner now.
Have I got the book there?
I don't believe that that's stored in the heart. I believe that is in the brain.
No, that's just your brain. That's what your brain's for. Is to process processes. So I read this book, The Heart's Code. Can't remember the author. And so he did a lot of experiments on heart transplant patients, and he found that the people who received a new heart started getting memories.
Yes. Okay, now we're on to an amazing topic. Yeah.
And not only that, let's say that the person received a heart from an English person received a heart from a Spanish lady who loved dancing salsa.
Yes.
And this guy, he would be like, he would start dancing salsa. He would have like an attraction towards Spanish culture or Latin culture or whatever. I remember that reading a passage in this book which said that, so this young girl was murdered. Her heart, she was signed up to the donors list. Her heart was transplanted to this old guy. They couldn't find the murderer. But when this guy had the new heart, he had dreams of the death, and therefore through that they tracked the murderer.
See, that absolutely agrees. This is the thing. You know, some people say, like there was a story about how this old lady had a husband, and he died, and there was this young boy who say was 15, and she believed that young boy was her husband's reincarnation because they had the same knowledge in the brain. It was like the same. How could he know like all this stuff? So to me, that is simply as we evolve. So when we die, we basically end on an energy frequency, right? Let's just say when you die, your energy vibration is 3.2, right? As everyone evolves, that they will become all the energies that you were and more, right? As we all evolve. So you learn your knowledge and you move forward. So now, if they die, they've got your energy, which is your frequency, and their own knowledge based on what was around. So their number is going to be 3.42 as opposed to yours at 3.3. So now, that person, potentially, for example, is the is the husband of the person.
So the young kid is the reincarnation.
So some would say that's the reincarnation. Now, I used to believe in reincarnation, but then I realised if the body dies and the thoughts and the memory, crucial, not the thoughts, the memory stored in the brain,
which it isn't,
then the body, no, we agree that the memory is, but not the thoughts.
The memory is not stored in the brain. We agree that, actually I don't think we agreed on that yet.
Anyway, hear me out.
Yeah.
If reincarnation exists, then I believe that person could have been reincarnated to that person and they met. But if, for example, as time evolves, at the time that he was born, he was on a certain vibration, and like we are receivers and transmitters, he was on a vibration based on that time of when he was born, okay, which matches up with the same vibration of what the dead husband was. Guy. So now they're on the same frequency, like two walkie-talkies, channel 5, 3.3 when he died, 3.3 when
he was born.
Yeah, so now it matches up. So now you're picking up all the energy. All the energy becomes that person's own thoughts and belief, like the heart thing. He has a heart transplant. He's now getting the receiver, the currency through his body. I like salsa dancing. Well, that was a frequency from. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So this is you trying to like get a theory on it.
I used to believe that was reincarnation, but then I realised, subject to the memory dying in the brain, reincarnation can't exist, and that you're just tuning into the energies. But if you're saying that memory doesn't exist in the brain, I might have to re-question my beliefs of reincarnation. Does that make sense?
Memory does not exist in the brain.
So, for example, right, with facts that when we recall a memory, the hippocampus lights up or whatever, right? If you do a brain scan MRI, if you think of a memory stored in the hippocampus, or it's, different parts of the brain store different stuff. That when you recall,
stimulates. But at the same time, like let's say, let's use like my MacBook. Let's say I have a hard drive, an external hard drive. I plug it in. That the hard drive is the source of memory. Is the storer of memory, but like to extract that memory or to use the information, we have to use a little bit of the motherboard, which is, let's say, here. Just because that lights up doesn't mean that the memory is stored here.
You know how everything is a wave, particle, and both?
Yes.
So like the quantum double slit experiment, it's the wave particle and both. If you want it to be all three or two, whatever, it could be the same thing, that the heart is picking up the memory, but also the thoughts. Reincarnation might exist in a different body or the same body, and it might just be the thoughts, like that hard drive might be.
Actually, yeah, you've said something that's I think that's given me a bit of clarity. Maybe
because on an MRI scan, memory's lighting up that part of the brain, and if that part of the brain dies, that doesn't exist. Now, if you measured that frequency of thought when that part of the brain was lighting up, you could sort of measure whether energy, does it stay there or does it go? But at the same time, because it's emitted a frequency, it now is in the universe, even though it came from the brain in the first place, from another part of their life when he picked up that frequency. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, I forgot what I was going to say now.
So it could be both.
It could be both, and it probably is. Like, because, your memory exists in your brain because that's where your nervous system is. I mean, the highest concentration of your nervous system is your brain.
When you see light, it's a picture, that's something from your eye. If your eye dies, then you could say that does too, because without an eye and the sun...
Because it won't be simulated. However...
Then there's just no picture.
However, there have been...
but sound vibration
some
is
people
different.
have managed to get their sight back. Or some people have had... I think they've created bionic eyes where, like, people who have lost their sight have got their sight back because that part of the brain actually stimulates, that bionic eye, or let's say it stimulates your senses in a different way that enhances different senses to compensate.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, the brain is the most adaptable we call it brain plasticity. It's the most, like, flexible organ in your body, So
if everything is that and that, as in black, white and grey, right?
Yeah.
If everything is particle, wave and whatever and both, and also when you and also you only see what you want to see, which then changes all of those things, it means that everything is anything and everything and nothing is nothing. Like, because
it's whatever you want it to be.
It could be that could be the reincarnation of that person.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't prove it. It could just be picking up the frequencies, But then she might really want to believe that, and her own thoughts based on her own times with her husband and how she went to the beach in Spain. She's focusing the beach in Spain. Like when Darren Brown puts a thought in that person's mind, he put that thought in their mind because you thought that person was your dead husband. So now he's picking up your thoughts.
Yeah.
So really, it doesn't exist because you put it into your brain.
Yeah.
But then it also could be he's tuning into the vibration of fucking John. Yeah. Like it's just it could be anything and everything, but it's nothing, and it's fucking crazy.
And the whole point of this old lady who wants to believe that this.
Do you know
guy
the story
is
I'm on about?
No, I don't know the story.
It's like a 90-year-old lady. Her husband died in a car accident or whatever, old age or whatever, and then this 10-year-old boy met, and then she believes it was him because he suddenly knew all the knowledge, but
could be.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, I was thinking like the main idea of this lady, like identifying this boy as a reincarnation. The main point is for her to be in a reality where it makes her feel better. So if that reality is completely synthesized and created, it doesn't matter as long as she's happy.
Completely agree.
And that's the power of the mind. Like, let's say, you and I could be looking at the same person, and I'm so convinced that this guy is so generous, is so kind, is a beautiful person, a beautiful human being, and therefore I create that reality and I lay out the groundwork for that reality to be. And you, for some reason, decide to think he's annoying, irritating, selfish, pretty much a dick. And you're then therefore laying out the groundwork for that reality to be. So whatever you want to see, whatever you impose as a perspective is what you're going to get. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. End of the day, it all goes back down to nothing. Just, grass, trees and ocean. Everything at some point is created, and then your perception of what something is based on what you've heard, what you were taught, what you've seen, what your previous ancestors did, which you just followed. Why did they do that? Is it something in their head? Last week, the only thing you have in life is the life that you create in your head, because everything is created by so many different things and people and thoughts. It has no relevance to you and your life. That's why you can create anything you want in your life, because everything was created from someone's brain anyway.
Yeah.
And take away everything, you're just left with sand, fucking ocean, grass and trees. Well, everything was made from few of those compounds anyway. So,
that's it, man.
You know, you might have had to merge a bit of tree with some rock and then put some water in it and then like chop off its leg and, you know, to make another thing. But, you know, something was, create cotton was a tractor, create the tractor was some metals, and then some metals was, you know, everything's come from nothing. Not taking a long time.
Fascinating, man. Yeah, so power of the mind. Be careful what you think. Actually, be careful what you think. Be careful what you wish, because whatever you wish will come true. Be careful the thoughts you put out. Be careful what you say. Whatever you do unto a person will come around. That is one of the laws of physics. It's, you know, whatever goes around comes around. People think it's just a saying to create good luck.
Absolutely not.
Karma. No. I used to be the kind of guy who, I used to judge people on their physique, whether they were intelligent or dumb, which is subjective.
Fake tit, slut. Actually, she was just insecure and got bullied at school. And now you see the same thing so differently.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you know, whatever attitude you have towards a person, be assured that will come right back at you at the same intensity, if not more.
Now, do you believe, based on that thing, that you're going to attract somebody else's negative mindset into your tribe? Or is it that if you have that mindset, you'll stay in that negative tribe, and because you're in a negative tribe, they're all doing the same thing, so someone else will do that back to you, but not that you attracted it. It's just if you stay in that place long enough, you will get it back. If you stay in a field full of roses, just smell like roses.
So what's this? Can you phrase the question with less words?
If you go in a field full of cow muck, you're going to start to smell like shit from all the cows already there. Yeah. You're not going to necessarily attract another cow who smells like shit, right? Yeah. So that's the same as if you are putting out negative thoughts, is it because you're in a negative pattern, those people already exist, or you're going to attract negative someones from out that circle? Or does it symbolise you're just going to get it back to you?
I think it's one and the other and both and none at the same time.
Yes.
To be honest.
Particle, wave.
Everything.
Honestly, when people understand the double slit, is that what it's called, double slit?
I don't know, but it sounds right.
It explains everything, doesn't it? Yeah. It literally says everything.
It's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, for example, I don't know, I'm super sensitive to the kind of people I surround myself in, because I know how easily my tribe affects my vibe, and therefore then my vibe affects the kind of people that I attract.
What if, for example, you're positive to all these people, but you don't move out of that circle? You're putting out positive thoughts, but you're not doing anything because you're aware that I'm supposed to leave these people, but you're staying, you're being positive, but they're still being negative to you. So this thing about your thoughts attracts the same. Well, technically, in that case, no, it doesn't, because does that make sense? But that's because you were aware and you were observing.
If you put it in terms of energy, imagine instead of using the word energy, you're using something that everyone can relate to, like a battery. Like, let's say we've got energy stored. Like, imagine
a dildo.
That won't work.
Everyone can relate to a dildo.
I've never experienced a dildo. So
Can't say I.
I thought so when you told me about. Anyways, so
tiny butt plug, but similar.
There you go. Imagine you've got one battery here.
People should finger their ass, by the way. The prostate, male prostate. You're missing out. It's not gay. Carry on.
No, it's not gay at all.
Just put that out there.
Imagine you have a battery, and then it has a finite amount of energy. Although we have a finite amount of physical energy, although we are infinite and we can tap into the infinite energy. But let's say I'm one person against a group of 10 people. Energetically, they are so much stronger than me, man. They have so much more power, so much more weight, so much more ability to have impact and affect me, therefore. I'm not in a spiritual state. I'm not there yet. I'm not at the elevation where I will stand my energetic hold, no matter what I have in front of me. But no matter how positive you are, if you do not get yourself out of that environment, you are going to lose. And that's one of the things that all these spiritual masters know, and they're so careful about. They're careful about who they look in the eyes because we don't understand. We don't know how much energy exchange.
Absolutely, man.
They don't look at everyone in the eyes. They choose. They pick and choose. They pick and choose the conversations they participate in. They pick and choose the food, the music they listen to. They pick and choose the
I'd rather fast than eat shit food. I'd rather starve than eat fucking shitty like KFC. I trust the branding and it's got proper, but some fucking Indian man's chicken shop. I don't trust that's frozen, put back in, frozen, put back in. Oil's not been changed. I don't trust that, because that is cancer to my body. If you put that chicken on a plate, that will rot if you put like a nice bit of food, that will rot it, and that's what it's doing to the inside of us. If you put shit in your body.
So, I guess to go back on the point, I think the question you're asking is, is it your positivity that attracts the vibe, or vice versa, or what? It's all of them. But I've been in a position,
knowledge
for example,
and vibration.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I've been in an environment. So this is quite personal to me. Like with my family, I can't be around my family because the energy is just so. It's so stagnant. It's dangerous.
I used to be like that. Because they were all negative. Because
so negative.
I had these big visions and goals, and they just wanted me to be this normal kid.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be around them. But then I ended up teaching them.
Yeah.
I taught them all my knowledge. And now we are all in harmony. But back in the day when I was like 16, my mum used to be doing ironing on a Sunday. I used to go in the lounge. She was just so negative about something because something wasn't her way or whatever. My dad wasn't doing the bins like she wanted to. And I'd pick up that vibration. And I couldn't be there. I felt sick. I just had to. I lived at my neighbour's house because I just needed an escape. And because of her thoughts, and it made me feel sick.
Same. It made. See, I never got physically sick. I got emotionally sick, and so before, because I was working on cruise ships.
I can never explain it. It's felt. You feel like shit. Is what I can explain.
Yeah, and it's interesting with my family because I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have all this spiritual knowledge if it wasn't for my family. My grandmother and my mother educated me spiritually very well. I was reading books about all this stuff when I was a kid. So it's interesting because they've got all the theory but absolutely zero practice whatsoever. So when I was saying the energy is stagnant in my family, they're all fearful. They only know fear. They only live in fear. They don't trust. They don't know how to take educated, trusted risks. They don't know how to follow their heart, how to follow their passion.
Which is why business professors shouldn't be teaching how to run a business, because he's teaching what he's learnt in the bloody book, and the bloody book is black and white.
And the bloody book is out of date, man.
He doesn't know what to happen when you're being flooded with loads of customers in your shop. Like, how the fuck do you manage that? That's a people skill. Do you know that in business?
The only way you work out how to do that is
to
be in a shop.
There.
Yeah,
and to learn from, okay, well, I need to put someone outside to say stop whilst I'm dealing with these people. CCTV in the corner. You can't learn that shit. Common sense is not taught, it's learned.
Yes.
Hang on a sec. Common sense is not. It's learnt through action and experience. People say,
it's lived.
Use your common sense. Well, what is common sense? Just because you wouldn't do that, I think that's completely fine to do.
You know what's interesting, actually? I like it how people use common sense as in
we should all know it.
These things are all common sense, but look at
universal.
Look at the common fucking person, and I say this
fucking retarded.
I say this with no judgment of better, good or bad, but the world is composed majority
it's not their fault.
Common. No, it's not their fault. Of common people. Look at where we're at, man. Fuck, man. Parents destroy kids. People destroy environments. People kill animals. People litter. We're all killing the planet. So sorry, but common sense.
What's amazing is if we didn't have
so destructive.
People hate capitalism, right? But if you took all the big companies that we had, we take all the big companies away, which give us jobs, few options, nothing would exist because we'd all be spending time trying to find a way to get food, or we'd all be fucking killing each other, and their population wouldn't be as big as it is. So we'd all be little tribes.
We need a certain amount of capitalism.
Would you like some jam I made? Would you like some of my lasagna?
We need a certain amount of capitalism, but that's gone to an extreme. It's when it goes to the extreme of killing people and destroying the planet, then that's just dumb. It's just dumb.
I believe that we're all going to be extinct in 120 years. I wrote a book, and there's many reasons. There's lots of reasons why. Parts of global warming. Too many people. We're going to start having civil wars where we're all going to be gay, so we're not going to be mating anymore, right?
You think we're going to be?
Well, think about it. How many people are going from heterosexual to bisexual and gay and lesbian?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that.
But over time, it means that there'll be less people to mate with, and less people will be having kids, which means that there'll be less generations to.
I mean,
keep
we need to
floating.
start having less kids, man, because we can't. It's not sustainable.
120 years.
I reckon in 120 years the world is completely healed.
It's going to be
environmental pollution.
Healed.
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 I'm the other extreme to you.
I could agree if, for example, there is somehow a reduction of mankind. So whether it's through all their houses have been flooded, whether there's no jobs and we starve, whether we fucking drug ourselves to death.
I don't think we need a reduction of mankind. We just need a share of the wealth. I mean, just think of how much money goes into warfare, the development, the creation. I mean,
But
the
can
war
wealth
industry.
affect sexuality? Can it affect global warming? Wealth.
Can wealth affect?
I'm speaking about all these different factors that are a reason why I don't think how are we supposed to be around?
I mean,
in
wealth.
5 years.
Wealth gives you
Let alone 120.
wealth. If you have an abundance of wealth, it allows you to be able to do anything.
You can boat to another island which hasn't
can
been
do-
flooded. I agree.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so.
Or float to a.
I mean, we're talking about many different things here. We're talking about like the extinction of humanity because of the destruction of the planet, and then we're talking about poverty.
And then there's loss of government control because we've become too big that we fight and kill each other, which means that this basically will be bombed and shot, and there'll be nowhere to live, and then we'd all fucking die out.
I think there, even now, there've never been as many people on planet Earth as that we know of as there are currently now today, and it's ever increasing. I don't believe that there are not enough resources. It's clear, man. There are so many resources, but just look at who's using those resources and how. Like all the monopolies, all the massive capitalist companies, they're taking over lands and lands and lands and lands and resources and they're killing and.
Taking over politicians, and politicians can't govern for us, so therefore we are stuck.
The only reason we feel a need to have a government is because we don't understand our own personal power and don't trust in the fact that we have in us a system, in our own being a system to govern ourselves. We don't need that, but that's going to take years of spiritual awakening, spiritual understanding, which we are going through now, man. Like,
Do you vote?
I would love to vote, but being a non-British citizen, I couldn't vote.
You're French?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. You don't sound French.
I know, I grew up in England. But because I left for 3 years, I couldn't. I just got my settled status recently.
So the thing about creators, leaders create followers way. You can either wait for government to sort your fucking neighbourhood out, pick up the litter, or just go pick it up yourself. So don't wait for this thing to come and help you, God or government. They're not going to do jack shit. Create your life that you want. Go and get it.
And create that. That's why I'm looking to create a freedom lifestyle where I am no longer controlled by my finances. Rather, I control my finances and I have full financial freedom. If I want to make an impact in the world, if I want to change global poverty, or if I want to change the way that this
you have the money and the platform.
I've got the platform and the money. It's as simple as that. And that's my plan. That really is my plan.
Me too.
So
and it all starts from this very podcast.
Yeah, it starts here. So, but yeah, no, I honestly think that we're very close to destroying everything. And to be honest, right now,
so close.
We are. If you think about it, man, Trump is the press of a button away from not only destroying our planet, but through the reverberations of the impact of the explosion. If it was a nuclear attack, it would have an effect on other planets on which there are other beings. They do exist. That's something we need to talk about, aliens.
So I didn't believe that there's... So basically, you've got to define what is life. Do they have 2 lungs and a heart and a brain? Or is it something that just grows like a tree, which doesn't have life and a brain?
Do you think we're the only intelligent...
Well, if you look at what is required for us to have life on this planet, can't be too hot, can't be too cold, must have water and oxygen, whatever. If you're thinking life as in people like us, right?
Humanoids.
In which case you go to, Mars is too hot, Pluto's too cold, it's not going to work. And is there any planets like around the same space of Earth? And you can say the answer is no, which means no. But if, for example, somehow...
No, my post is falling down.
If, for example, right, somehow...
Apparently this is my name in Chinese.
Something wrong. What's wrong with you? Put that down.
Nothing wrong.
That's your brother. Hello, my name is Something Wrong. It's my brother, Nothing Wrong. If, for example, many, many years ago, humans evolved and they flew to Pluto before it got too cold, but they dug underground and created and they created central heating. Could they still be living there? Absolutely.
That's a non-physically possible hypothesis. It just couldn't work.
If you're thinking about life in terms of something that grows, they might not have two lungs and two eyes.
I'm talking about aliens, so intelligent beings.
So you're talking about what in the symbol in the reflection of us, eyes, nose, and lungs.
Like, they may not have the same system as us, but like
they can
head.
Are
body.
they conscious?
Oh yeah.
Are they aware that they're here and they can go to Earth and they can create this and that?
They are here.
Do I believe that? I believe it is absolutely possible. But if you understand how we need a certain thing on the...
But they don't have to... Okay, we as humans, in the system that we have with our biological system, we need this environment to live. But I'm talking... Other beings may not need the same environment. They may not need the sun. They may not need to breathe.
Floating gravity, right? Like, it will float, yeah?
They control gravity.
A rock will float in gravity for as long as that pull's there, right?
Yes.
So if there was a load of humans or aliens or whatever who built something at some point which could do that, and they somehow only lived off water, and they did that by having a room. There was this film where they had a room where he heated it up and then it cooled overnight and he created water and he grew potatoes, right? If they found the way where they just needed water, for example, and they did that by the change of temperature, condensation, water, spaceship in space, could aliens exist? Absolutely. But it won't be in the form that we are in.
Like, if there are aliens, who said that they need to eat food to survive?
And who said they have to be on a planet? Why can't they just be in, like, the atmosphere, like in a spacecraft?
Well, you know that...
That I can understand.
This is going to sound nuts, man, because you've probably never heard this in your life. There are beings that live on the planets in our solar system. They are in a different dimension. They're not physical beings. They are beings, they're just not in the physical realm.
So they are human?
They're not humans. No,
so they're a different species.
They're a different species, but they have consciousness in the same way that we have consciousness, in the sense of, you know that you are you and that I am me, and you recognize me as different to you.
So you've got birds, dogs, ducks, humans, and something else, but that thing is not physical. You cannot see it.
No.
So it's basically, is it conscious?
Yes.
And that's because it doesn't need a brain. The brain's part of the physical body.
It doesn't need the physical body to be.
Is there an aura around it? If you had like an aura camera, could you see the energy? And is it 5'7" or is it a square? Is it a car?
I don't know enough to answer that question accurately.
So it's like a presence of some sort.
Yeah.
A spirit. You could say a spirit, a ghost, right? Yeah. And then that gets into like the dimensions of when we die. There's an aura around you, yeah? If I shot you and then threw you into the gravestone over there, your vibration is here, which could be like this symbolization of what you're saying, and then there's a duck next to you and a dog.
If you were...
In which case,
I've never done this experiment.
And how is that moving? Is it by magnetism, or is it by its own consciousness? But then if I think consciousness is in the brain, it needs a body to move the energy.
The brain isn't consciousness. I'll send you a video link to this guy called Sadhguru who talks about consciousness.
So many people, like professors and shit, I've read that they've agreed that consciousness is in the brain. That's why I keep saying it. But I want to see where you've got yours from. Like they said we all agreed that consciousness is in the brain in terms of...
Okay, so what they understand by consciousness, if I was to understand consciousness the way they do, I would agree with that. What they understand by consciousness is, thanks to my nose I smell, thanks to my senses I sense, thanks to my brain and the hormones I fall asleep, I wake up, I get hungry, I need to eat. They understand bodily functions as consciousness.
To me, consciousness is I'm aware that I am an aware.
So it's I am. For you is the I am.
I am aware that I am aware of how I feel and I can choose to then do something.
Okay, you do not need the body for that.
So
think about when you're dreaming.
Yeah, so if I'm asleep, then I'm not conscious, but I'm still subconsciously aware.
Think about you're asleep. When you're asleep, you're not awake, yet you're aware that you are aware. That's all. Like, say no more. Like, how are you aware that you're dreaming? How are you in a dream, yet your body isn't part of it?
So imagine when you're dreaming, you are aware you're asleep and dreaming, right? Yeah. If I died, could I still be in that same mindset of I'm aware that I'm asleep and I'm dreaming, or I'm aware that I'm dead?
If you died, you wouldn't know you're dead because you're you, the you that truly is.
So the mindset of me aware that I'm dreaming, if I'm dead, is it the same, exactly parallel?
I mean, okay, I haven't died and I haven't come back, so I can't tell you in this life, in this incarnation.
The way to I know someone who died, right?
Yeah.
But he came back to life.
Really?
So he's aware that he can hear the machine going off.
Yeah.
He can hear, get some help, we need some help. And the mum like, oh my God, my baby. Okay, he's aware of that, but he's dead, aka the heart stopped, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's at what point does the heart have to stop, and how cold have you got to be before you can't hear your people around you? Like, if that corpse was there for like say 20 years and your mum was still there as doctors, are you still aware that they're here? And is the awareness simply the sound that you can hear from them? Or if your ears have died with your body, what does that make sense? If the awareness...
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if the body's been declared dead, so your functions don't work, your eardrum doesn't work.
Convince me on this, because I want to believe that when I die, I'm still here. I don't want to believe that afterlife.
You will be.
Because I did. I was fucking into spirits and afterlife. I couldn't wait to die, literally. But then I was like, well, hang on a sec. Reincarnation, it's the body, which means it was sad. Please convince me that it does exist.
So, first of all, we've got it wrong in thinking that
I hope you're on camera, by the way. Stay there.
Yeah, I think I am.
Hang on. Stay there in your little porn star pose. Yeah, you're perfect. Hi, call me now on Babe Station 0849
6969.
Hi, my name's Nico.
No, my name's Nico.
What shall I... Sorry, Nico. Fuck.
So people have got it wrong from the very fundamental thought that the spirit exists inside of the body. It is the body that creates the spirit. People think the spirit is a projection of the mind. Bullshit. The spirit, thanks to the spirit, the body exists. It's the body that is within the spirit.
To me, spirit is energy.
It is the most fundamental you, which comes from source. It is the fractalized. Do you know what fractalization is?
No, but I know what sauce is, like tomato.
Yeah, it is the tomato sauce in which you put your pasta in. Yeah.
The base of the pasta dish.
So,
the base of the linguine is the tomato ketchup, yes? The base of the pasta, the buono.
Sì, il pomodoro,
yes, you put it in the
la
pan,
pasta.
the succoletto P. The parmigiano.
Okay, so the source, your spirit is another word for soul, I think. You can...
This is the thing, like, you know, it's like mind, body, soul. It's too many words. Unconscious, subconscious. I had to work this out. Is the spirit and the soul the same? What is the soul? Body, mind, spirit? It's just too many words saying the same thing, right?
These are just different ways of explaining the same thing. You've got the mind, body, and soul, the spirit, the mind, the body. You've got the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit.
To me, it's just your physical thing on the planet and then the energy.
Okay, you've got. Okay, so you've got the body, which is your body. You've got the mind.
The mind for me is
you've got the mind, which is your thoughts. But your mind is not, your thoughts is not your consciousness, because you can be fully aware and fully conscious, meditative, with not a single thought.
When we say use your mind to like move that thing, I'm projecting energy on that thing. So that's energy. The mind is not the brain.
Okay,
it's
let me...
But then it's activated by the brain.
I've got to be careful with this microphone. So the brain is what we use is the physical means of controlling the mind. The mind isn't in...
The brain can choose where the energy is focused, whether it's there or there.
Yes.
Yeah?
The brain is the computer.
Yeah. The brain is the walkie-talkie, and then the brain turns it on, and then
there is a walkie-talkie function within the brain.
Yeah, and then the signal coming off the walkie-talkie is the mind, which connects to the other walkie-talkie.
Okay, so like there's loads of... You're asking loads of questions, and it's tough for me to follow. So... The mind, the body, and the soul. Okay, your body is your body. Your body is just a result of what you've eaten. That's it. Like, if you stop eating, your body will have nothing to survive off.
If chicken eats fish, it is a fish.
Exactly.
That's actually true, by the way. No, seriously, have you heard of Dr. Gundry? So, you know how we're eating so much antibiotics, which is destroying our gut microbiome, right? So if we're eating food and like cows and chickens that have been eating, say, soybeans, and those soybeans have had antibiotics sprayed on it, hence why people want free range and organic, right? It's because all this pesticides and nonsense is coming into our body directly through the food we eat, but also for the food that thing eats, right? And so, what did you say?
Can't remember.
Microbiome. Years and years ago, the chickens were eating fish granules, right? And
granules, they didn't have any fish
let's
granules.
just say like loads of fish minced up and whatever. The chicken was eating loads of fish granules, right? He went to KFC with his children, And these children said, Daddy, this is fish. He goes, no, it's chicken, it's KFC. No, it's fish. He looked at it, it was clear, see-through. It was basically a fish. So your cells can change based on what you put in, so you are what you eat. The chicken was eating so much fish that obviously it's called a chicken by name, but in terms of the cellular structure, if you put it under a microscope, if you didn't know that chicken was eating fish, you'd say, well, this is a fish. And actually you'd say no.
Where are you getting this information from? Is it just a theory?
No, this is, I'll show you the link.
But is this guy serious?
Oh, yeah.
Because...
Yeah, no, this guy, he used to be a brain surgeon, and he used to find solutions to the problem. So he used to fix your heart if it was clogged. But then he started to understand about nutrition and diet, and he changed so many people's life through their diet. They lost their diabetes, they lost their illnesses, disease, they lost their Crohn's disease, all based on diet, which is all about lectins, which is another thing. So much food has lectins in, which it's a big topic. But so yeah, you are what you eat, basically. But
you are what you eat, yeah. So I mean, the body is composed of the food that you eat. So by that, it takes a certain amount of energy to construct the machine, which is your body, and to keep up, to maintain it. For example, if you don't eat, there's not enough for your body to run on. There's not enough fuel. So you will die if you don't eat. So the body is what is known in in Eastern philosophy, it's called the food body. You have the food body. And then you have the mind, which is the function or the activity of your brain. And then you have the soul, which is that which gives life to everything else, to the mind and the body. The mind isn't your soul. The mind isn't the you, because you can be you without a single thought. You can be you with too many thoughts that make you go crazy.
Yes, if you're meditation, you're still you. If you're thinking about stuff, you're still the same personality.
And that's where people develop things like anxiety and stress, is because they identify with the mind. They think, my thought is me. No, because if your thought is you, then the moment you stop thinking, you die. Like, that's kind of the problem with René Descartes, who was a French philosopher. I think, therefore I am. No. I am, therefore I am.
Remember, I am that, I am.
Yeah.
I am that. If you want to, you're a record label producer. I am that. I am. Like,
yeah. You don't need to think. For example,
you don't have to justify.
Okay, look at this is a slightly different twist, but look at a jellyfish. We can agree that a jellyfish is an animal, right? Okay, it has no brain. It has no anus.
Does it not have a brain?
No brain,
jellyfish
no anus.
doesn't have a brain?
No brain, no anus, no genitals. Yeah, it is. It exists.
Hang on, so that means so when it eats, does it eat?
Yes, it eats to maintain the matter that it is.
So what happens to the food that it eats? You can't just keep getting fatter, surely. Like, it has to go somewhere.
They just don't eat much, and they just grow and grow and grow and die.
And so does it burn it off when it moves?
I really don't know.
So it doesn't have a brain.
No brain.
But yet it knows to eat that thing if it comes past.
I don't know how they eat, but I just...
See, now that would...
I got this from Stormbreaker. Do you know the film and the book?
No, but if that thing knows to eat that thing, or knows to migrate, and it hasn't got a brain, I would agree that consciousness isn't in the brain. And that consciousness is the vibration, which means that consciousness is simply magnetic. It's just magnets. Like, it's
example, electromagnetic.
You take away your brain, whatever frequency you are, you just keep going through the frequencies. You know, we said the other day about all those frequencies are already there. It's just how you get there, which means that I get what the feelings go to Leicester Square because you were there. Well, if I didn't have a brain, would my energy, movement, like
the brain is
a root of a tree to some water, will it still have done that? Because then I can agree that consciousness is vibration.
That's another almost impossible hypothesis. It's like, without a brain, your body wouldn't exist. Does that make sense? It's like saying, would my car have started without an engine? No, because a car needs an engine to work. Does that make sense?
When you move,
the engine isn't the reason that the car exists. Isn't the reason that the car is.
So when you move, it's because you want to go to your mate's house. But if you didn't get a call from your mate and you trusted instinct, you might have just turned up at his door and he'd say, "Oh, I was thinking about you." So that was the consciousness, which could be the energy magnet,
Yeah.
but also
That's
your
the soul.
but also your awareness of I need to call my mate because. But that's in the brain, so we can agree that
It could be-
thought and consciousness, energy and thoughts. Like I can go against my magnetism. I knew my guts would go to Leicester Square. I could have gone to fucking Chinatown. No, that's too close. I could have gone to London. Fucking, I'm in London. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can counteract. So when you observe what's going to happen, right? I got it. When you observe what's happening anyway, you can change it. If I observe that thing spinning, it's going to change it. I will go with gut feeling to where it is when I meet you, but I could choose not to. The jellyfish may not have a brain to decide that I need to eat that because I'm hungry, but it was going to go there anyway.
Yeah.
Which means consciousness.
There is a natural flow of life. Look at trees, man. Trees don't have.
So the root will go towards the best soil and water. Doesn't have a brain, which is what aliens could be in a form of. There's no brain.
So
because we as a brain need oxygen.
Just like on planet Earth, you have. So we're going into aliens now. Just like on planet Earth, you have really intelligent people, really will use non-intelligent or dumb people, even though I don't like using that term because it's passing judgment.
Consciousness. So if you took out your brain, would you... So our energy is made up of our thoughts, right? Frequency. Would you have gravitationally pulled yourself to that place like I did with you if you didn't have a brain? Or can I choose to go with feeling, which is based on consciousness?
Say that again.
If I didn't have a brain, would my energy, my feeling, the vibration, being attracted towards you in Leicester Square if I didn't have a brain to choose to trust my gut and then go?
If you didn't have a brain, you wouldn't be alive and you wouldn't be having this physical experience. Full stop. So
would my energy as an aura still be there in Trafalgar Square and you'd see it moving towards you because the energy will go as one?
So we're talking about a completely different thing here. Like we're imagining what if. So that's then we're talking about dimensions. Yeah, we literally are. We're talking about different dimensions. Like the only way and reason and means by which you can exist is through this physical realm, and for you to live in this physical realm and exist is through your human body, in which for the human body to work, if you have no brain, you'll die.
I've got one. I'm 30 years old and I lose my eyesight. If I trusted my gut feeling, would I have ended up where I met you in precision? If I just trusted my feeling?
Yes.
Right. So the brain exists, but I've not got my, let's call it awareness, my conscious awareness.
Your visual awareness.
Visual awareness.
Because you have conscious awareness. Look at Stevie Wonder, he's blind.
So I'm aware that I am alive, which is conscious.
You can still see, you can still smell, you can still feel, you can still have, like, we think we only have like 5 senses, but we have more. We have, I can't remember the name, but do you know the show QI with Stephen Fry?
Question.
QI with Stephen Fry is the host. Well, he used to host it, not anymore. It's a talk show where they talk about like intelligent stuff. Anyways, we don't just have 5 senses. We have another sense, I can't remember the name, which is when you close your eyes, you know where your arm is. I know, it's called something location. I know that your knee is here. I know that if I go here, I'm going to go to your crotch. I know that your head is here. You know, that's another sense. So, you know, when you're blind, you still have, actually those senses are heightened. Your hearing senses are heightened. Your smelling, your taste, your touch. These are all heightened.
So if you blew up Stevie Wonder, would he still be as aware as he was before you blew him up?
If you killed him, he would be even more aware, because now you are no longer limited to the physical means of awareness, which is only through those 5, poor bless them, little senses.
So he, meaning him as a person, is actually his vibration, which is still there when the body dies.
His soul, yes. We can just use the word soul. It's that simple. Like, you are not your body. You are not your mind. That is not who you are. And even you, Oliver, that is not who you are, man. That is not you. That is just
Sandra. I'm a female today. I decided right now.
I'm
Sandra.
Sandra.
Yeah? First me is
Can
they.
I call you Sandy?
No, they or Sandra. Okay.
Or Olivier. Or
it's too masculine. I'm all about
Olivia. No, Sandra. Yeah. So you are not your mind. No one is their mind and no one is their body.
Essentially, it means they can change the vibration at any time, which changes their thoughts and their life.
If you were your body, look how much your body has changed since you were a kid. You are not. How can you still identify as the you that you are when you were a fucking infant? You didn't know how to talk. You shut yourself. You never had no sexual consciousness or maturity. Now you're a fully fledged human, like adult, where you have all these like complex systems, psychological systems, physical concepts and awareness.
The body
so
changes.
You are not the body. You are not the mind, because, as you know, you meditate, or you said you've meditated. When you empty your mind, there is no thought. Yet you're not. You don't die. Wow, magic! Like, you're not the mind.
So the body evolves, the mind evolves. I mean, you can change what's in your brain.
How can you go through your whole life? Let's say you live 110 years old. Think of all the things you've lived. You've changed so much. Yet you, in the center of you, you still feel like you. You don't feel like you're any different.
So if you become aware of everything and you change, then you could say the you then is different to the you now. Whereas if you don't change, you're just you. But what is you? It's just like a current pattern, like a current state of mind.
It's
like your vibration stayed the same.
Yeah, vibration is a different thing, because yes, I guess you could say your vibration. If you don't change, your vibration doesn't change much. But any little thing, the fact that you close your eyes, you've changed your vibration. The fact that you open your eyes, you change. The fact that you breathe in, you change your vibration. Like, every tiny thing is a tweak in vibration.
This is such a deep topic. Like,
it is.
this thing about consciousness, because then you've got to understand so many elements before in order to get there. But then it's like these go down rabbit holes.
Think of a dream. Like, you know, when you wake up from a dream and you think, whoa, like, that felt so real. Like, have you ever had? This is something everyone can relate to. Sex dreams. Like, there's this.
I had a wet dream the other day. I had a massive patch on my boxers.
I've never had a wet dream.
You haven't? I never had them growing up. But now, because I'm more sexually active, I'm having them, or had them. I've had them every now and then. Like, in my dream, it was this person who actually was, I think it was like Chinese or something, right? Yeah. Small. I was having sex, but I didn't actually go inside her. I was just like on top of her, like just like mounted her like on top. Didn't even go in, and I came, and she was pissed off how I didn't even go in, and I came.
Was this a dream?
Yeah, it was a dream.
And how real did it feel?
Exactly the same as reality. And I woke up and I had a fucking wet patch.
Yet you weren't. It wasn't your body. Yet it felt real. Think about it.
So really, consciousness is it's more feeling as opposed to.
Consciousness is not in the body.
So it's not the fact that I stimulated this part without doing physical movement by the neurons and whatever. It's more feeling. It felt real as opposed to the reason why I ejaculated based on neurons in the brain. So neurons in the brain, yes, I could say it's not the brain, because I was aware that I was aware that I was fucking, which means it can't be memory because it didn't happen, like exactly how I saw it or whatever, which means feeling is different to the body and consciousness. Like, I'm trying to...
You might not get your head around it today. You might get your head around it like tonight or tomorrow or in a week.
Feeling is consciousness.
Nope. Feeling is not consciousness.
But I was consciousness that I was having sex with a Chinese person, but it was a feeling, because actually I wasn't doing anything.
The feeling, so we understand feeling as being in and of the body, but if you were asleep and your bodily functions are at rest and therefore not switched on, how could you have stimulated yourself to the point where you've ejaculated?
Because of the neurons.
So it's in your head.
No, it's not in the head. The head is connected to the other neurons in your body, which stimulates that part of the penis which needs to ejaculate.
But you weren't awake and you weren't feeling it on a conscious level.
But what is interesting is it doesn't mean you have to have an erection in order to ejaculate in your dream. It just has to be those.
I don't know.
The neurons.
I don't know. That's something we should talk about. Is what's it called?
Penis.
We could talk about penis. There's a thing we should talk about, which is
why it looks like a mushroom.
Yours looks like a mushroom.
When it's up, facing the sun.
There was non-ejaculatory orgasm for men, where like you come, but like you don't.
You orgasm, but your muscles contract. There's no fluid.
Yeah, I mean that's something that can.
When I first had a wank, I didn't used to come.
Oh yeah, but that's because we were kids and like our sexual organs weren't developed. Like we weren't creating sperm or the liquid or the fluid in which sperm is contained. But there is a certain training which is part of tantric sex, which is that you can learn to control your muscles in a way that you can still have an orgasm without ejaculating, which means that you can have multiple orgasms just in the same way that women do.
I put on a YouTube video of ASMR where she was taking you through an orgasm in the brain.
What's ASMR?
I'm here now. Like it's I'll show you the videos, but it's basically, it makes your brain, by sounds and stuff, as if it's real, but it's not. And it takes you through, like,
Can you send me that link?
the process of orgasming. Like, I just see my bed, but you're listening to us saying, as you start to feel this, the senses build up, and it becomes, and I would say it's 40% to an orgasm. 40%, as in, I didn't come, but I felt the feeling of what it would take in order to come, basically. But basically, it's the same as a dream. Whether she's talking to me in the dream or it's happening in the dream myself, it's still creating the orgasm at the end of the day.
What do I do on my phone? I need to send my roommate a quick text. Because I don't want to leave the podcast.
Over.
Teflon.
I had it here.
It can get up because this is quite long.
Yeah, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, this is 3 hours long. Which is exactly... I said to my dad, this is going to be 3 hours long. He goes, what are you going to speak about? I said, I have no fucking idea. Ladyboys, dildos, and fucking law of attraction.
One moment. Hey, Sarah, I'm still doing the podcast. If you want to use the washing machine, sorry, just take my stuff out and put it on the sofa. That's
Take
fine
my
with me.
hands, my dear, and place them both in mine. Do you know what I feel that there's so much more to speak about.
Man,
Even though we've done
it's
3 hours, I feel like
It's only,
I feel like
one thing leads to another.
halfway. There could easily be another 3 hours to talk about. Like, there's so much more to speak about, and then the in depth. But it's interesting. Like I said to people, an hour. Like, fuck me, I can waffle on for 10 minutes. Like, before you've even spoken, that's 10 minutes. But 3 hours, man.
I'm gonna have to go busking soon.
Shall we end it now? On 3 hours?
Yeah, 3 hours is a good one. What time is it? Well, ciao for now.
Ciao for now.
Thank you.
Hello, Homer.
What does that mean?
Don't know. Hello, how are you in Chinese?